bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
All right. Wow, what a day, huh? This is Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Today is Thursday, December 10th. Where'd that come from? 343 days into the new year. No, that's not right either. I've been busy today. 21 days left. Yeah, it's been a crazy day here in the bunker. Tonight is Fader Night. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. You can also Skype in Fade to Black 14. Yes. The breaking news all day today is this 1999 Stanley Kubrick interview where he says he faked it. Have you seen it? Have you seen it? We'll get all the links up. I'm sure it's blasting all over Twitter right now. It's been crazy today. It's been very fluid. I've been in communication with quite a few people, and it's breaking. The story is breaking. It's up. The videos are over on our Facebook pages. And we'll get it up here on Twitter in just a second. I'm sure that everybody is doing it as I speak. But you can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio, hashtag F2B. Tonight on the show, obviously, open lines. And I'm sure that this will be the subject for the evening. At the bottom of the hour, Dave Cruz is going to be here. And we're going to talk to him about his show. And he'll be here at 7:30 for a few short minutes. For about 15. And then at the top of the hour, at 8 o'clock, Jay Weidner himself is going to be here. And we're going to be talking about this interview. Now, before I break into the show and get things set up and stuff, I got the links to the interview sent to me very early this morning. And I immediately got to work. And then, and everything was posted up on a couple of different sites that are out there. One of them was Disclose TV. Okay, and before you go, Jimmy, Disclose TV. It's not about that. It's just about the story, right? So I get there and I watched that, the 30-minute clip of the preview of this show, interviewing Kubrick, or movie, and done by T. Patrick Murray. And we might even be in touch with T. Patrick here during the show. So that's going on too as well. So I get that, and then I get the unedited interview. Okay, the 30-minute preview that was put up today was intercut and edited with other stuff artistically. Okay, whatever. But it was hard to get a context of the interview itself because it was chopped up. Then we got the unedited interview. We posted that. It immediately was pulled down from the web. We reposted another one, which was pulled down. I have since then got copies of the interview itself. So there you go. So much for pulling it down. Posted up on right off of our hard drive. Anyway, So there is I think it's about 20, 25, 28 minutes. I'm not too sure. The unedited version. There's 2 parts to that interview. Nonetheless, the questions are, is it Stanley? That's the first thing. Was it done in 1999? That's the second thing. There are a few clues in this video. We'll discuss that. I watched it today. I have no idea how many times, trying to pick up on certain things. There was something that was there. You know what? About Bart Seibel, that was mentioned. Now, if this was done in 1999, was Bart Seibel already public? I've already reached out to Bart as well to ask him about that. I know that his film had come out in 2001. So was he out there doing his investigation? That famous clock in the jaw from Buzz Aldrin? That happened in 2002. This video was allegedly filmed in 1999. So was Bart Seibel already public? So I'm trying to get to the bottom of that, too, as well. And you know me, I'm not going to play around. I did go and look, by the way, at images and video of Stanley from that period. And I'm kind of tripping. So if this is something, if it is just a complete hoax and it's done as a tongue-in-cheek, and this was done by T. Patrick Murray as an artistic thing, and it's just, it's a joke. Okay, all right, okay, but I don't know. So I've tried to in the last. It's been very fluid today. Reaching out to the director and to Bart Seibel to get some timeline stuff on this and to see if it's real or not. But looking at the images and listening to the director, there's some things that go on in this interview. It seems like it's coaching, but would it in a couple of spots? It feels a little funky. So is the actor really that good? Because he is good. If he's good, he's good, and he does look like Stanley. And there's some other stuff, and we'll talk to Jay Weidner about this. He's been doing the same thing today. And now, I last spoke to Jay about an hour ago. Spoke to him all day today. We've been analyzing this and picking this apart. We're trying to figure out what's really going on here. If it is what it is supposed to be, which is a 1990 interview with Stanley 3 days before his death, we've got a new world today. There's that side of it. There's the other side. If it's just a hoax or whatever, okay, all right, it's done its job, and everybody is abuzz about it. I don't know. We will find out. Okay, there you go. There is one spot in the video, and I had to go back and watch it a few times. I'm not too sure what is going on there, where they're talking about Neil Armstrong's death versus Stanley Kubrick's death and who died first. And it's weird. You kind of have to go and listen to it. Is it, and if it is an actor and it's T. Patrick Murray coaching them and they're just doing this to get the footage for this movie, why would this get posted with the mistakes in it? If those are indeed mistakes, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. You have to watch it and see and get a feel for it. I haven't. Mark Tarana just said the Seibel film was released in 2001. Yes. Can the family, the state of Stanley, I'm sure that's going to come out too as well. Will they validate it? That's from Walter. The curious cuts and links to Flat Earth, that was bizarre too as well. I agree with that. That's from Dew Sky. Everybody, I mean, I'm just watching Twitter just blip by here. It's pretty fascinating. And could it be? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, could it really be? Well, that's going to be our show tonight. It was funny because a couple of days ago, you never know what life's going to bring you, right? You just never know. A couple of days ago, we were talking about the flat Earth and that, and I thought that would be a fun thing to talk about tonight to get everybody's input and the Fadernauts and I got a bunch of emails suggesting, we should bring on this guest. I got other emails saying, Jimmy, you've got to do an expert. Why don't you do that? And but it was because this was just something that just happened really quick, and I thought let's do the flat Earth. Let's talk about it. Let's see what the Fadernauts really think. Let's see what the audience thinks about that. Okay, fun show, and then boom, this morning this. So we will find out. We will get to the bottom of it, and it's one of two things. It's the biggest news in the history of mankind, or it's not. And there's not going to be any gray area in the middle here. Oh, man. So here we are. Rita and I are a week into this 2-week thing that we're doing, and there'll be more news on that. I'm going to bring on, I'm going to bring on another guest on Monday to talk about what we're doing, and just go to Life Change Tea. Life Change Tea, getthetea.com. Check out all of their products. We're doing everything. I think right now we're blowing through literally 4 different products at the same time. And I got to tell you, I feel great. I do. I feel great. Thank you to everybody that's ordered the Studio Dome stuff too as well. I'm on my 5th cup of coffee today. It was one of those days. It was just one of those days. Go to studiodome.com. You can click on the banners. The holiday special that they've got going on right now, it is a surround sound system in a hard shell case, 2 speakers, subwoofer, power supply, cables, everything that you need. $299 list. You get it for $99. You can't beat that deal anywhere. Go and do it for yourself, for a loved one, your children, your next door neighbor. Everybody needs something like this in their life. Just go do it now. Alien Snowfest also as well, $179. That early bird special ends in 5 short days. With that, let's get this show cracking. I'm so fired up. So we're going to have Dave Cruz at the bottom of the hour. Top of the hour, Jay Weidner right here on Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is Fader Night. The call-in number is 323-825-5045, 323-825-5045. I'll be back right after this short break. Stay with us.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil 3-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Hi, this is Chase Kletsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station, where the Fade or Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Yeah. I love Thursday nights here in the bunker. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Bottom of the hour, we're going to have David Cruz right here. Dave C. Top of the hour, Jay Weidner. I'm sitting here, I'm watching the post, and I'm watching Facebook and the comments on this video, and it's all over the place. It's a pretty nutty thing that's going on right now. It's breaking. It's fluid. Is this a day that we're going to remember forever? Is it? Is it really? Is it like that? Whew, man. Is this going to be on CNN tomorrow? We're going to find out. On this day in history, in 1967, a plane crash in Madison, Wisconsin, kills soul singer Otis Redding and members of the Bar-Kays band on this day in 1967. Fader facts. Of all the countries that celebrate Independence Day, 58 are independent of the UK, 26 of France, 21 of Russia, and 21 of Spain. That's 126 countries out of 194 in the world. That's crazy, isn't it? Nobody's independent of the United States. Kind of funny. Well, all the news that you know nothing about, of course, this is breaking. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. A filmmaker, T. Patrick Murray, allegedly interviewed Stanley Kubrick 3 days before his death in March 1999. He says that he signed an 88-page NDA not to divulge the contents of the interview until 15 years after his death. The movie is called Shooting Stanley Kubrick, and the first 30 minutes are previewed right now, and they're uploaded over at disclose.tv, and they did that today. The preview itself is hard to watch. There's strange editing, and the interview itself is cut up. I kind of wish that the entire conversation would have been presented, but it isn't in the movie itself. They've got it intercut with other Kubrick works. But there is a transcription posted at disclose.tv, and you can read that, and that goes along with the other 20-minute complete interview that we have now posted. It's been pulled down, reposted, pulled down. I don't know why they're pulling it down. I don't know if it's somebody that is infringing on T. Patrick Murray. It got leaked. He doesn't want it out. He does want it out. He owns it. I don't know. Or does the government not want this posted and up? I don't know. I don't know. But it's been pulled down and reposted so many times today. I've been reposting it as it's been pulled down. Okay? And anybody that's Michael Anderson just said, I just could not watch it. You've got to watch it. Michael, you've got to watch it. It's either it's a great hoax and it's a good actor and all of that, or it's real. But no matter what, you can't really comment on it. And I had said this a few times today to a few different people. Look, you can't say that it's bogus, or you can't say that it's real without seeing it. You've got to go and see it and then make your comments. And, that's what you got to do. It's like, buying a car. I don't like it. Well, drive it first and then say you don't like it. You know what I mean? Okay. All right. Tonight at the top of the hour, Jay Weidner is going to be with us. He's going to be discussing his analysis of everything throughout the day. And, it's fluid. It's a breaking story. We've been covering the Apollo stuff now for a couple of years. Now everybody knows my position on this. And, before I get all fired up or excited, we've got to figure out what's really going on with this. Tonight, Jay's going to help us through that. Divers from the FBI searched a small lake in a park a few miles from the Inland Regional Center where 14 people were killed last week. And one of the items that the divers are looking for is a missing hard drive from the couple's computer. And they're going to be searching that lake for a few days until they find it. Apparently, they were near or at that lake. There you go. Connecticut Governor Dannell P. Malloy has announced an executive order to ban people who are on international terror watch list from purchasing guns in his state. Malloy made the announcement outside of his Capitol building in Hartford this afternoon, saying that it was a response to inaction by the U.S. Congress. The order would block people who are banned from flying on commercial airliners from obtaining firearm permits in the state. And I just got to say, yes. Why? I mean, why? Why would it be okay, for somebody to buy a gun but not fly on a plane? It doesn't make sense, does it? I'm just saying. All right. The verdict is in, well, mostly, that the bright spots on Ceres are probably made of salt. And this is according to NASA's Dawn spacecraft. Mixed with salt are bits of rock and frozen water. When sunlight hits the blend, the ice sublimates into a misty haze above two of Ceres craters. Researchers report today the December 10th issue in Nature. Okay? There you go. Now, if you go back and you remember the that pyramid, that mountain, it looked like it had glass sides. It's what it looked like to me. It was pretty astonishing to look at. But now all of that is supposed to be salt. Strange. Not so sure. I'm not saying it's alien. I'm saying it's trippy looking. And that's an awful lot of salt, if it is. NASA has successfully delivered several of Microsoft's augmented reality headsets, the HoloLens, up to the International Space Station that allegedly isn't there, the flat earth people, The ISS crew, which includes 2 Americans, 3 Russians, and 1 Japanese person, will test the capabilities of the device in space, according to Popular Science. HoloLens, which is set to launch to developers in early 2016, it's a mixed reality headset that can put up Windows apps or even, like Halo 5 Guardians. Think about it. They're going to be doing video games on the ISS. This is some of the best news that I have had come across my desk here in the bunker in a long time. A Japanese chocolate company has begun selling chocolate like American cheese in individually wrapped slices. I'm not making this up. Tokyo-based chocolate company Bourbon has begun to sell packets of sliced Nama chocolate. It looks like, brown American cheese. The slices are about an eighth of an inch thick and can be molded into a variety of different shapes or whatever, like American cheese. They are sold online through the company's website in bundles of 12 packs of 5 slices, and it's also available in Japanese supermarkets. But I got to tell you, we need that here now. Could you imagine? Think about this. Not a grilled cheese sandwich, but a grilled chocolate sandwich in butter. Can you imagine? Think about that for a second. That's a game changer right there. Think about it. Hey, Bob just posted it. Look at that. Think about that for a second. What does that mean to humanity? Look at that. That is, man. We have technology that will do a lot of different things. We've got the internet. We've got cell phones. We've got video games. We've got electric cars. We can fly around the world on jumbo jets. We can do whatever we want. But now we could have grilled chocolate sandwiches. I love this country. Oh, it's not here. It's in Japan. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has announced that his country has developed a hydrogen bomb. And that's according to state media, and they have reported it all day today. He made the statement during an arms industry inspection yesterday. This is nuts. I don't even know. I don't even know where to go. I don't. That's about as scary of news as we have. I want you guys to think about this. Would China, after all of this craziness, would China back up North Korea if we had to do something? Or if anybody had, would China do something about this? Would China step in and go, hey, Kim, buddy, check this out. We got to slow down here. Okay, this has got to stop. It's right there. It's on the Chinese border. You know, it's this is getting out of control. Would they either defend him if something happened, or B, would they step in and stop this? Would he, just get yanked from power? I mean, just like this is enough. We don't need that. It's a crazy situation. I was thinking about that today. I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure, even if China is, a quote unquote, enemy of ours. I don't. You know what? It comes down to a safety issue too, as well. And where this is all leading. China really, do they really want some crazy dude on their border with a hydrogen bomb? That's nuts. And this is Fade to Black. We got breaking news all day today. We'll be talking about that. It is Fader night. The lines will be open here shortly. 323-825-5045. When I come back after this break, Dave C. is going to be with us. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Bespoke radio for the masses on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. I'll be back right after this.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
People love to shop. What if you could shop and it was actually good for you? What if you could actually purchase items that bettered your life? What goes into your body is important to what quality of life you have. How about shopping for items that better your health? GetTheT.com is that shopping place. We're not only tea, even though that's our number one seller, we are about helping your health. There's Colostrum LD for those of you with autoimmune troubles. The product helps your stomach get on track. GI problems produce pain. Get relief with Colostrum LD. How about some fat burners? Or maybe some joint aid? Or a power cleanse? There's so much to tell you with very little time. So get help health-wise at GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Or you can call our friendly operators at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. Get help and relief by going shopping. Shop at GetTheT.com. That's GetTheT.com. Serving people with great products for over 8 years. GetTheT.com.
Imagine no longer being tied down to your computer, but having the freedom to take live talk radio with you anywhere you go. TalkStream Live introduces our first ever iPhone application. The talk shows you follow now follow you. And your iPhone is now the fastest and easiest way to stay connected to the best talk radio on the internet. Let TalkStream Live transform the way you listen to radio. Listen to live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Mobile talk radio from TalkStream Live. Now available in the iTunes App Store.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Hello, Fadernauts. Are you looking for that perfect gift for the holidays? Well, check this out. The Studio Dome surround sound system, featuring the Studio Dome 1 SD1 and the Studio Boombox SBB wireless Bluetooth speakers, is the perfect way to get surround sound without all of the cable headaches. With its own hard shell custom carrying case for taking your surround sound experience on the go. Each hard shell case comes packed with an SBB, 2 SD1s, cables, and power. Just in time for Christmas. It's just $99. And you use the promo code Jimmy and you get yourself some free shipping. Once again, Studio Dome brings you the best Christmas deal on the net. Anywhere. Just go to the Studio Dome banner, JimmyChurchRadio.com, promo code Jimmy. Go Beckley Tuppy.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Computer crash. You gotta love it. This is Fade to Black. Man, that scared me too. If you thought that was loud coming out to you, you should have heard it in my cans right here. Dave C. is the host of Beyond the Strange, Dave Cruz. It broadcasts live on his YouTube channel and Spreaker Sundays at 9 p.m. EDT and 6 p.m. Pacific Time. His website is beyondthestrange.com. I'd like to welcome to Fade to Black, Dave C. Dave, how are you doing, man?
Hey, Jimmy. Thanks for having me on.
How loud was that?
That was killing me.
Yeah. Man, I about jumped out of my chair.
I did, dude. I'm standing up.
That was incredible. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. Thanks.
Crazy news day today. Of all the days that you were going to come in on Fader Night, you know, it's this Stanley Kubrick stuff. It's a pretty nutty day. But I really let's get my mind off of that for a second. Let's talk about Beyond the Strange, and what I would like. You know, I've had Dave. I get people all the time, either in conversation, email, what have you. Get a hold of me, going, dude. I want to do a show too. You know what can you tell me to do? And I say to everybody to get a microphone and go and do it. If you've got something to say, and it's good, people are going to listen and they're going to be attracted to it. Just go and do it. Is it that simple? Yes, it's really that simple. If you've got something to say, go and do it. The internet is a beautiful place, and you can go and get it done too. And you went and did it. And how do you feel?
I feel really great about it. I started it out by listening, of course, to Fade to Black, and what I got inspired was listening to Fader Night of all nights, of course, tonight, and I wanted to hear the stories of the Fadernauts. I wanted to hear the other side. I mean, I love hearing guest speakers like Jay Weidner, like Robert Sullivan. I love those guys. You know, we learn a lot from them. But to actually get on that level and to know what the person has felt when they experience an abduction, or, you know, just seeing something in the sky, it's something that I wanted to learn more about.
Did you have a sighting or any experiences before you started to do the show?
I've had 2 sightings that are memorable to me. The most one that's more memorable was just recently. I think I called in on a Fader night to talk to you about it.
I do remember, yes.
And it looked like a bunch of red dots in the sky. And I was with a family member, and I told him, I said, dude, do you see that in the sky? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And when we went back to the house, there were people in the neighborhood all out of their houses looking up in the sky, and you can see all these red spots floating around, and it was just an amazing sight.
Yeah, didn't that make it to the news?
It made it to the news. A few people got to videotape it. I tried to with my phone. My phone's crappy, so it didn't really come out too well. But yeah, it's still unexplained today.
Yeah, I remember seeing it. I watched all of the news clips on it, and it was unresolved. It was definitely unique. I mean, it was there, and this was out like in Bakersfield, right?
No, this was actually here in close to Napa Valley.
Oh, it's Napa Valley. Okay, okay. I don't know why I was thinking it was Bakersfield, but yeah, I remember seeing it on the news. Now, did you think about doing radio growing up? Have you any formal education, or are you flying by the seat of your pants?
The latter. Definitely
Fair
flying
enough.
definitely flying by the seat of my pants. And I'll tell you, it's been a fascinating journey since, so far. I mean, I'm meeting all kinds of different people online, through the phone, through different shows. It's just been really amazing.
And who's your dream interview? You have to have one. I get that asked to me all the time, so I'm going to throw that out to you. Who's your dream interview?
You mean besides you?
Oh, come on, please. Who's your dream interview?
I've put a lot of thought into this, and I would love to interview Jeff Tate.
From Queensryche?
From Queensryche. And I'd love to get his take on how they came out with, not The Warning, but...
Queen of the Reich, the first one?
No. Oh, my gosh. Operation Mindcrime.
Oh, okay.
Because when I heard that for the first time, I mean, it was like a rock opera.
Yeah, it's like a movie. Yeah, no doubt.
And then the videos that go along with it. And I'm like, this is the first time I was actually exposed to a conspiracy that we hear about all the time. I mean, that's like MK Ultra. I mean, come on.
Right. I'll tell you something funny about those videos. Mother Mary, right? Mm-hmm. The nun in the videos is an old friend of mine. Her name's Chandra.
No way.
Oh, yeah. And when, growing up out in Pasadena, we had a very, very small group of friends, right? There's maybe, there was a dozen of us. And she was, one of the friends in the circle. Mm-hmm. And then later on, and I became friends with her dad, really cool guy, Dave, good musician. But anyway, and Chandra, the next thing I know, and I was all into Operation Mindcrime, and then she comes back, she goes, "Hey man, I just shot all these videos for." I was like, "Wait, what?"
Wow.
And there she was. Yeah. Known her for a long time. But so Operation Mindcrime means a lot to me. It's a great album, and then boom, she went and did those videos. So, and she was young too. She was probably, I don't know, 19, 20, I think, when she did those videos. So, Jeff Tate would be a good interview, and I'm with you on that. But I would ask him about Mindcrime, but I would also ask him about the original Queensryche look that they had, which was spandex, the big hair. Yeah. Jeff running around, like a Sunset Boulevard big hair band front man, and then evolving into this, this respected singer, Yes. Where he wasn't running around wearing spandex, stripes in Capezios, So, but and I thought that was a unique transition that they did do, and they managed to save themselves from, being thrown into that pile, which is a good pile to be in, but that big hair band to being a band with a message.
Yeah, definitely. I really think that was one of their best albums. Just one of the best rock albums out there.
So, who's your team over there at Beyond the Strange?
Well, of course, everyone knows we have Leslie Johnson III, LJ3,
right?
And he co-hosts with me on Sunday nights. Brian Anderson, Fate or Not,
right?
Also helps with the technical, and we also have our producer Stephanie. And she's also Fate or Not. I mean, it's just Fate or Not fam, pretty much.
And what's your goal with it? Do you want to investigate? Do you want to deal with the audience, or do you want to bring on authors? I mean, what's the goal?
Well, the beginning, it was honestly, the beginning was a rant. I mean, I had it up to here with chemtrails, and the first time I went on air was through Blog Talk Radio, and it was basically my phone and my earbuds, and I did my first half hour show, and I ranted about chemtrails the whole half hour. I played it back and I heard myself. I'm like, I can do better than this, and so it just started evolving from there, and we got more people on, we got Les on, we got Brian on, we got Steph on, we got Lynn, Allison, and it's just been evolving since then. So we basically right now have a panel, like a Fate or Nots, that we use through the Hangouts, and we bring up a topic, and basically everyone gives their take and brings out the information that they got about the topic, and we can have calls. We have a Skype number. It's a very interactive show.
Have you heard the NASA chemtrail phone call that we posted yesterday?
I saw that, yeah.
Did you listen to it?
I didn't get a chance to listen to it, but I did see that posted.
It's an eye-opener.
Yeah, it was on Facebook, right?
Yeah, I don't know how I originally got it, but
I think I saw it on Facebook.
Well,
yeah.
I posted it on Facebook, certainly. But the question of whether or not they are real, I mean, we can hypothesize and have theories and go through the motions on it, but he says we've been doing it for a while. That's what we do. We do it to figure out how the wind is blowing in the upper atmosphere, and now whether or not that is why they are doing it is beside the point. The point is he has disclosed that they are doing it, and that it was an eye opener. And to have the government in denial mode about this for so long, and it's been discussed in Washington, and people trying to get to the bottom of it. And this guy says, "Hey, well, we do it, but we do it for these reasons." Is an eye-opener, and that answers a lot of questions right there. It's a crazy phone conversation to listen to, and it's only 60 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you need to check it out.
Definitely will.
Well, now you guys are on Sunday nights, 9 p.m. How long is the show?
The show is 2 hours. And it's basically, we'll have a speaker once in a while. We have a guest. I've already had Robert Sullivan on the show. I've had Robert Morningstar, Chris Garitano. It's an interesting synchronicity how that happened, and I'll have to talk about that another time. But it's just amazing. But it's on Sunday nights, like you said, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and it's on YouTube. And you can find us at Beyond the Strange on YouTube and on Spreaker.
Who's your guest this Sunday?
This Sunday, we're going to have a friend of the show who actually was a guest a couple of months ago. His name is Byron Lacey, and he's an abductee. And he has a book written about it. And, man, I'll tell you, he's got a fascinating story.
Beyond the Strange this Sunday night. Thank you, Dave. And we'll put up all the links for it not only on our Facebook page, but on Twitter, too, as well, man. You guys are doing a great job over there. Keep having fun.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Talk to you. Thank you, Dave.
All right. Thank you.
Dave C., Beyond the Strange, Sunday nights. The links are up on Twitter. And here in the bunker right now, I don't have Twitter up to my left. You heard what happened. So I'll get that restarted here in just a second. Beyond the Strange this Sunday. It's 6 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. The website is beyondthestrange.com. Dave, keep doing what you're doing, man. It's all good. Now, I want to get back to, let's open up the phone lines, 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. I want to know if you have seen the Stanley Kubrick interview. It is posted. It is up. It's over on our Facebook page. It's up here on Twitter. Have you seen the interview with T. Patrick? It's T. Patrick Murray. It's absolutely fascinating. 323-825-5045. Also tonight, I told you that we would talk about the flat Earth. I would like to open up the phone lines to that too as well. And I know that there it is. Got it. Beyond the Strange. That just got retweeted. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. That's what you want to do. At JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. Now, back to the flat Earth. When, the pot started to get stirred on this a couple of months ago. And I have been ignoring the flat Earth. And I've been ignoring it for a bunch of different reasons. One, it just, for me, just right there, I see flat Earth and I just back off. I'm not interested. But there's another element to me that I'm always looking for something fascinating to go and dive into and research and check out. So and it started to come in, and it was phone call after phone call and email. And Jimmy, you've got to do this. You've got to do this. So I relented and I started to go and check it out. Well, a couple of days ago, I posted on Facebook and I realized that although I'm not retracting or apologizing for what I had written and posted, I meant what I said and I said what I meant. But it was probably a little bit too strong. I shouldn't have said certain things. I was trying to keep a straight face and so forth. But I stand by it. I stand by the statement. But I've gone and I've done so much research and I've done everything that I could to try to get to the bottom of this and to see where the foundations of this idea is. Calling it a theory is, I think, is a little bit incorrect. But I will say this. If somebody can lay it out for me or get to a point where I'm okay with it or a certain part of it I'm okay with, then fine. Bring it. It's okay. When I said let's debate, that was probably too strong because debates are boring. Just a bad idea, and open discussion is a better way to put it. So that's where I left it, and the phone lines are already taking off here. So let's go to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Tammy. I have to report to you what happened to me in the last 2 days in not only Ontario, California, but Christmas Valley, California.
Okay, what happened?
We get there, and there's not even supposed to be anything going on. I start noticing lights in the sky, 36 of them, Jimmy. The wind started blowing so fast, there was trailers being turned over. Okay, the whole town of Christmas Valley is missing 3 hours.
Wow.
3 hours of time.
Is it in the media?
Is it what?
Is it in the media? Are they talking about it?
No, I was just there. It took us 18 hours to get home. Nobody's talking about it. I tried to get video of it. I know Pat tried to get video of it. He's got a telescope attached to his camera. He's got an SLR. Mine, I don't know what it took. Pat possibly has it. We went. We weren't thinking anything of it. We went to fill up with gas to finish our trip to Ontario, and everybody is sitting down going, "Whoa, did you guys see the lights?" I said, "I tried to videotape it." And they're like, "Come on over, darling." You know, this is the town I go to where Fort Rock is. If you guys can ever get out there, get out there. I'm going to write Rita tonight exactly everything what happened. I'm going to give her some emails. I'm going to give her some information. And I told him, I said, I have a friend that's in radio that is into this.
Wow. Well, yeah, get us all the information. Let me look into it and see what we can find. And but you didn't get any video or any pictures.
I don't know. I haven't checked the camera. I have 6 hours of sleep in 48 hours.
Okay. Well,
going through 7 different storms in one day.
Well, thank you for the heads up. Number one. Number two, we'll look into it over the weekend, and maybe by Monday we'll get to the bottom of it.
I hope so. I'm going to. We're going back. I think Thursday of next week. We're going to try and get a copy of the videos from Pat, a copy of the videos from the mayor.
Thank you so much, Tammy. Get that email.
All right, love you guys.
Love you back. Get that email over to Rita.
I definitely will.
Thank you, Tammy. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy. This is Brandon from Boston.
Hey, man. How are you?
Hey, it's Brandon. Brandon Young.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
How are you,
okay,
Brandon?
So, oh, man. I just got word of this Kubrick news. And I hate to say, all right, but I think it's a hoax.
Could be. Could be.
It could be. I'll tell you why. Let me give you my reasoning besides just the initial blink, sort of just unconscious, sort of, you can tell. The cadence of his voice, the way he talks, the transcript, where he says, the questioner says, okay, laughs at when Kubrick actually, says something serious and discloses it. And he says, oh, you're serious? Oh, okay. It just reeks to me I want to believe it, okay? I really do. I'm a huge Kubrick fan. And all the little things that he put in his movies do point to that. However, this interview, I'm sorry, but I can't accept it. Also, he just looked different, and the editing as well, and the fact that, has it been exactly 15 years? I don't know, or over 15 years. It just doesn't. I loved it. It's so great that you got Jay on to talk about this. This is something that people could run with forever, but I think it's a hoax, and I really don't want it to be. It'd be cool if it wasn't.
Have you seen the unedited version of it?
Yeah, I scrolled through it a little bit. It's just unedited. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. Well, when you watch the entire unedited video, there's a few telling things there. It appears to be some kind of coaching that's going on. That feels a little bit funky. But if you take those sections out and you just listen to Kubrick speak, it's fluid. So if he's an actor, first off, he looks just like Kubrick. His nose, his mouth, his eyes. The hair's a little long, but then again, it's 3 days before he died, so maybe he would look like that. I don't know, but it's if it's a hoax, it's a great job, well done. Right. Hats off to T. Patrick for putting together something that's freaked us all out. But if it's real, it's craziness. So I just don't know. This is where I'm a little disturbed. And if it's fake, why would the unedited version be posted? Why, as a filmmaker, do you allow that to get out of your control? If you're trying to do a hoax, then the last thing you're going to do is post the unedited version of that online, right?
Right.
So if you're a brilliant hoaxer, how do you make that kind of mistake? That's all that I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then maybe,
good.
No, then you're not that brilliant of a hoaxer. Right? Am I right?
Right. No, you're right. You're exactly right. But see, like, if you pay really close, like, you ever read that book Blank by Malcolm Gladwell, where, like an artist, can tell a fake Rhodian sculpture in a second. Just from looking at it, right? And they don't know why, but there's some kind of unconscious mechanism that says something is off about this. Okay, something's off about this Kubrick interview. All right. Also, the top of his head is kind of cut off in the very beginning of the interview. I'll give it credit, the shadow and lighting, everything looks like Kubrick, everything like that. He actually has the pacing. He really tried, the Kubrick guy anyway, tries really hard. But the questioner, it just seems like he's reading a script. It's like scripted.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said, if you take the Kubrick part, the actor, in context, and you listen to his answers about Spartacus, and he's talking about Passive Glory and different films and the time, it seems like it's Kubrick. That's the part.
Yeah, but why would Kubrick go all the way into like every single movie that he did? I mean, in every interview that I've ever read, or even listened to, he's very fast. Like he's not very slow, and he doesn't go through all his litany of movies that he's made. He's on to the next big project, new thing. It doesn't seem like he'd go through every single movie like that.
Yeah,
and then you're reading the transcript, it just seems like it's scripted, man. I can't say anything more than that. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong.
No, you could be be completely right. Mm-hmm. Okay, now when it comes to stuff like this, all of us need to check it out, and let's just get to the bottom of it. Obviously, it is too fantastical. It's too outrageous to be real. Okay, we know that. Okay, so, but what if? So let's just, take a deep breath. We'll figure things out. This director, I will be in contact with him. There's one little thing in there that he mentions Bart Seibel in the unedited version of it. And I just stepped back and I went, Bart Seibel? Okay, now that's a dating thing. We can date this. So Bart Seibel's film came out in 2001. This interview is allegedly in 1999. And it's not like Bart Seibel did his thing in 2009 or 2010. Then, this whole thing is a hoax. But Bart Seibel is 2001. So, was Bart Seibel public in 1999 that, so it could be mentioned in this interview and not blow it all out. So there you go. Hey, listen, I got to get to a commercial break and get Jay Weidner in here. Thank you, Brandon.
Yeah, get him in. Honor. Thanks. Bye.
I'll talk to you. Thank you so much. Brandon from Boston, thank you so much for the call. Let's do this. Where am I at? I don't even know where I'm at in breaks now. Everything is just messed up. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. When I come back after this break, we'll be joined with Jay Weidner. We're going to talk about this Kubrick interview. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Back right after this.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Ray Sobbs here once again to tell you about the Space and Alien Snowfest Ufology Conference taking place in the ski resort city of Big Bear Lake in sunny Southern California. What a lineup. Richard Dolan, Chase Kletsky, Micah Hanks, George Norrie, Jason Martell, Jimmy Church, Linda Moulton Howe, keynote speaker Stanton Friedman, and more. Along with the speakers and lecturers, join the luncheon hosted by Jimmy Church. See a world-class UFO ET-themed ice sculpture contest with attendees voting the winner. Enjoy the quaint shops, restaurants, and pubs in Big Bear Lake Village, and enjoy some of the best sky watching you can imagine. After the hectic holidays, gift yourself with a retreat the first week of February and come relax with us in a premier ski resort town high in the mountains of the Southern Sierras with an average of over 300 sunny days a year. Take advantage and book your lodging early and get your tickets now. Visit our website and register at aliensnowfest.com. That's aliensnowfest.com.
Did you ever turn to your radio for your favorite talk show to find that it's been preempted for this?
In the air to deep right center. Back goes Lewis to the wall, and it's out of here!
Or this?
And I'm ashamed of you, Hillary, for voting for it.
Do you have a favorite talk radio program that's not available in your city? Just go to TalkStreamLive.com for links to the best streaming talk radio shows. At TalkStream Live, you will find live talk shows 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All your favorites are here. With such a large selection, you will also discover some new favorites. On the go and still want to listen? With the mobile smartphone, simply type TalkStream Live on your internet browser. Now you can take internet radio with you. You will also find hundreds of music, news, and sports streams. Best of all, the TalkStream Live directory is free and there's never a login required. Remember TalkStreamLive.com, the fastest route between you and your favorite talk radio show.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Tonight is Fader Night. 323-825-5045. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. The breaking news all day today has been this Stanley Kubrick deathbed confession video, allegedly filmed 3 days before his death in March 1999. And I couldn't think of anybody else on planet Earth to call and contact and to reach out today. But there's only one, and that's Jay Weidner. He has been all over this for years. His latest film is the feature film, The Last Avatar. You can go to sacredmysteries.com and check that out to order the DVD. And I think we even have a special promo code for that tonight. We'll ask Jay about that, too, as well. I'd like to welcome back to Fade to Black our good friend, Jay Weidner. Jay, how are you tonight, sir?
Hey, I'm great, Jimmy. How are you?
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Feeling good? Crazy day?
Yeah, very crazy. I've been following the whole thing, and my vote is still not quite in yet. There are things that are quite intriguing, and I don't agree with a lot of the people that say that it's fake, but it could be fake. And I think tomorrow night when I'm on Coast, I'll have a much better grounded assertion as to what's going on here. But, tonight I will just say that there's enough evidence to convince me that at least it could be true and that this really could be Stanley Kubrick saying that he faked the moon landings. And I have to say, if it is a fake, it's a dang good fake. And I'm not talking about the film, the shooting Stanley Kubrick. That film sucks. But the interviews
right.
that were released, the full-scale interviews. Those are very, very interesting.
It's and you just leaked it. I was going to surprise everybody at the end here, but Jay is going to be joining me tomorrow night on Coast to Coast, and we will pick everything apart between now and tomorrow. We will find out a lot more about this interview. Now, Jay, and I can't wait for tomorrow night, because by then you and I will definitely have come to grips with this. I have reached out to the director himself, and we'll see. So now, a couple of things about this, and I'm sure you were listening to the show leading up to this, but if not, there was one key thing. And I'm going to let the audience know, Jay and I have talked 3 or 4 or 5 times today about this all day long. And there was one key thing that I didn't get a chance to talk to you about today. They mentioned Bart Seibel in the video. Now, Bart's film came out in 2001. To the best of your knowledge, looking back, was and I've written Bart, by the way, and I'm waiting. Good. Yeah, I'm waiting to get hear back from him. Was Bart in the public eye in 1999? Had you heard about Bart?
I think I had, actually. I think he was actually lurking around in the background at the time.
Okay.
So that could actually be true. There's several things in the interview which are very odd, which actually turn out to almost solidify the filmmaker. One is that he says that you made 16 films, and Stanley doesn't correct him, because Stanley actually only made 13 films. But actually, if you look at his filmography, he did make 3 other documentaries before he made his feature films. So again, the filmographer may have been correct in that Stanley really did make, if you consider the full body of his work, 16 films. And also, people are saying on the internet that the voice isn't right. That the voice, I want to correct one thing before I go on here. The film shooting Stanley Kubrick has several shots of Stanley talking, if it is Stanley, and the voice is not in sync. But if you look at the interviews, the voice is always in sync. So I'm not sure what happened between the shooting of the actual interviews and the film shooting Stanley Kubrick. It's as if he wanted to make his film so surreal that he kind of divided up the sound to make it look strange, which he was definitely going for. But in the interviews, that does not happen. The voice seems to be right. And what I did was I went to Kubrick's accepting his award at the D.W. Griffith Award, which would have been just a few months before supposedly Moore did his film. And I listened to his voice, and then I went back and I listened to the voice on the film. And there is a difference, but not that much. And most of it is the New York kind of edgy accent that Kubrick has while he's accepting the award, which he has most of his life, is missing from the interview. Now, that could be several reasons for that. One, Kubrick's playing up to the New York audience who's giving him the D.W. Griffith Award.
Right.
So that, Hillary, when she's in the South, she speaks with a Southern accent.
Right.
So that could be like that. And that when he's, being interviewed in the film, he's speaking more with a kind of almost an English version of an American accent. It's kind of strange if you listen to it. It sounds like Peter Sellers imitating, President Muffley imitating an American.
Right.
So it's
right.
It is odd. But the thing that struck me the most about this, and what I want to leave everyone with, so we can talk about it tomorrow night in depth, is that I did go back on the internet and found high-resolution pictures of Kubrick at that age during Eyes Wide Shut, directing Tom Cruise and Nicole and all the rest. And I got it as tight as I could because I wanted to see, and I will have to tell you that if this is an actor playing this role, not only is his voice very, very, very close to Stanley's, but he has actually the same kind of moles and weird lumps, kind of bumps, tiny bumps.
On his forehead.
The left side of his forehead above his left eyebrow.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And they match. And, you know, I'm not as good at identity analysis as, say, the researcher Miles Mathis, because I'm not a portrait artist, but I am a photographer, and I do know these kinds of things. And I will guarantee you, before 3 a.m, I will have this figured out.
Jay, there's a couple of things. One, you're in this preview.
I am.
And did you give clearance for that? Did you talk to
Nope.
T. Patrick?
No, I did not. I have no idea. He just took it off the internet, I guess.
Well, and you know why that's there, to validate everything, because you're the man. And what'd you think when you heard your voice? You know, I mean, did you go, no, I can't be associated with this. If it's a hoax, here we go. Or
that's what I'm worried about. Exactly, is that this is a hoax, and that it's going to damage the operation that I'm trying to do here, and which is to show that Kubrick did this. But I don't know. I mean, it's done so well that I'm like floored. Not the film shooting Stanley Kubrick. That's almost like shooting Patrick Moore in the foot, as far as I'm concerned. But the interview itself, the full-blown interview without any interruptions, that's impressive. If that's a fake, wow.
I know. I was sitting here today. I watched it, at least 5 times. And there was a couple of times I just put my head in my hands. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And I tried to take the interviewer out of it and just listen to Kubrick. And the comments that he made about Neil Armstrong, I was floored about. I was floored about what he had to say about Wernher von Braun, Kennedy. This was his magnus opus. This was his best film that he's ever done, and nobody knew about it. And having that, and then something else just struck me. I thought to myself, let's say it's real. Let's say it's really Stanley. Maybe it's Stanley's last laugh at us. Maybe he's.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, and pretty much all the way. And I'll tell you another thing. If it is real, and we'll find out, because there are bumps in the head and little scars and things, and we can compare. So you're not going to get away with it more if you're faking it. And if you're not faking it, then we're going to support you on this. And so far, the evidence is pretty compelling that this could be Kubrick. I know a lot of people are going, oh, no, Weidner's agreeing that this is such obvious fake. And in some ways, it is an obvious fake. But at the same time, think about it. You're Stanley Kubrick. Your health is definitely declining. You can feel it. He definitely looks it, whether you look at the pictures of him working on Eyes Wide Shut or you look at this video. His health is definitely declining. He's on his way out. He's and this other thing that is in the video of him drinking.
Yes,
that is really fascinating, because he actually sounds like he's had too much to drink, and this is what you would do probably. Vino Veritas, right? Where he's drinking and suddenly he starts, and wouldn't you want to tell the truth? If it was near the end of your life and it was your greatest work and you were never going to get credit for it. And I mean, a methodical guy like Kubrick would actually demand a 15-year,
And there's one other thing that I found really interesting, is that this 15-year, gap, right? That is there, that he demanded to be in there. Well, his wife is dead.
No, she's still alive.
Oh, is she still alive? I thought I was just thinking. I didn't check. I should have fact-checked before the show. She is still alive?
Yep, yeah, Christiana is still alive.
Okay.
Christiana's actually asked me to come and talk to her, and I haven't done it for fear of her not surviving, because if this is true and he died 3 days later, then you know that he's being tapped, and that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Because he talks about that in the interview.
Yep,
and
exactly.
Now, but this is what I wanted to say about Christiane, is that they made that mockumentary. What was it called?
Yes.
A funny thing happened on the way to the moon.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah, right. And by the way, I played that one day for my wife, for Rita, and didn't tell her, that it was, a mockumentary. And she was so outraged about halfway through with Rumsfeld. I mean, she was just like, how can this be? But it's not outside of the possibility of it really being Stanley, just like that mockumentary was made, that she participated in, to have like a little last laugh on all of this with everybody.
Well, I think that's actually, there's a lot of truth to that. I think they like to have laughs. And they think it's funny. And they want to see also, by the way, who's paying attention. And, it's part of the game. So I actually believe there's a lot of truth to all that. And she participated in this interview. There's no doubt about it. And, she was taken apart by the French media, or probably really CIA. But, she thought that she was doing something good. And again, I'm not convinced. I did a pretty close study of Kubrick's acceptance of the D.W. Griffith Award just a few months before this supposed documentary was filmed. And outside of the slightly lacking New York accent, he's got that same mellifluous kind of Kubrick voice that is kind of convincing. So, again, if this is a fake, holy crap, this guy is good.
Yeah, he's good. And, I'm okay. I'm okay here. All day today I was thinking, man, if this, and then I started to think, well, you know what? It could be real, but it could be Stanley having his last laugh, and it really is Stanley. There's that aspect, and then there's the crazy one, which is this is the day the world changes historically, right? There's that aspect.
Yeah.
And then there's the other part of it, the whole thing is just a complete hoax, and there's that, and we're going to get to the bottom of it.
We are. I guarantee it. One way or the other, we're going to get to the bottom of it.
Thank you so much. Give my best to Sharon. What's the secret code for the Last Avatar?
Yeah, you can get my new movie, The Last Avatar, at sacredmysteries.com, and the code is 10 and the words OFF, or 10 off, or 10% off. So if you call because you listen to this program, you want to get the DVD of my new feature film, The Last Avatar, just use the code 10 and then the word off is one word, and you will get the film for 10% off. And do it, because this is a great Christmas present, and we want everybody to have a nice Christmas.
Thank you so much, Jay. I'll see you tomorrow night on Coast to Coast.
Okay, Jimmy. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jay. Jay Weidner, everybody. Tomorrow night he'll be on Coast. We will have we're not going to have everything, but we will have a lot of answers that we don't have today. I called Jay first thing this morning, putting everything together, not only for tonight, but his research going on throughout the day today, and then getting Coast to Coast set up for tomorrow night. We pulled it all off. So tomorrow night, Jay will be on for the entire show, and we will also take calls tomorrow night. Thank you, Jay, for taking time out to come on the show right now. You can go to sacredmysteries.com, use the promo code 10 off for The Last Avatar. With that, I'm taking a deep breath. Phone lines are open. 323-825-5045. Let's get Fader Night going. Two subjects on the table tonight. 323-825-5045. Let's go right there. I have no issues. Flat Earth. I don't care what side of the fence you're on. What do you think about the flat Earth? give me a call, 323-825-5045. Without me divulging a whole lot of my take on the flat earth, which I can sit here and do for the next 4 hours, not a problem. 323-825-5045, and the Stanley Kubrick interview, which is up and posted. I was thinking about, and I do have the capability of doing this, I can actually play some excerpts from the video too as well tonight. 323-825-5045. All right. While I'm waiting for phone calls to come in, because we are on a 30-second delay, 323-825-5045. Let me revert over here to see what's going on in Twitter and questions. Why is there a flat earth reference in the title of the Stanley Kubrick video? Yes, I saw that too as well. Why would somebody do that? And or did they know about this show tonight? Did you think about that, Walter? Did you think about that? Maybe, huh? Because there's no reference to flat earth in the interview or to the preview. And let me just say this. If you want somebody to click on your video, right, about Stanley Kubrick, and you want people to go, hey, let's go check this out, the last thing you would want to do, right, is put flat earth in the title of it. Because wouldn't that kind of turn people? There's some people out there that would click on it because of it, but the vast majority, I would think, would kind of freak out. Let's go to the phones. Phones are lighting up already. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Mike Wiskowski. I'm from Colorado.
Hi, Mike. How are you, man?
I'm good, but I got to tell you, I found on this YouTube channel where this guy was originally posting his videos. He posted one video 2 months ago. It was titled FGH, like he didn't want anybody to find it. It's FGH, and it's a longer version. It's 30 minutes long, and I just posted a link to this on your Facebook page.
Right.
If you go to the first post that you pinned, it's the link there.
Okay, which Facebook page did you post it to?
Jimmy Church Radio. Facebook.
Oh, you did it to that
Church
one.
Radio.
Okay, I'm going there now. And I'll ask Rita because I can't access my own page, just so you know. I don't control the page. So I'm going to ask Rita to approve the post and pull the links. She can do that. I don't even know how to. I see it right here. I think I have got it. Let's see. You know what? Again, Rita, can you handle that and send me the link? There you go. Okay, thank you so much, Chris. So, what was different in the other video?
Well, this video looks like it's either filmed before or after the other one that we're looking at, and it's 30 minutes long, and it's very clearly this guy is being coached along. And if there's actually in the comments on this YouTube video, it's only got 206 views right now. But if you go to minute 14 in this video or minute 21 in this video, he's coaching the guy and he calls him Tom. So it's clearly an actor in the video. And it's really disappointing to me that it sounds so much like it's staged, because I wanted to believe it too. But it's you have to see it because it just really seems fake.
He calls him Tom. Why do you think, Chris, this is, okay, here it is. She just posted it here as well. And I'm going to, so it just made it to YouTube. So to Twitter. Thank you so much for that. And then Rita, if you can pull the video, see if you can, or somebody, save it before it gets pulled down. Save the video and, so we can analyze it. Why do you think somebody, like T. Patrick Murray would make the mistake of getting these videos posted online if it's a hoax? Doesn't that feel strange to you?
It does feel really strange. But when you look at this video, this YouTube channel, it's filled with like garbage videos, like hundreds of videos, almost like some automated spamming system was posting these videos, like they were trying to make this channel full of garbage so you wouldn't really be able to use it or see it. Because and obviously the video is titled FGH, because they didn't want you to find it.
Right.
And I'm assuming they just wanted to make it so that they could share it for some other person privately, not realizing that there is a way to share videos privately on Facebook or on YouTube.
Yeah, and send us.
That's the only reason I could think.
Hey, Mike, if you could send Rita the link to the actual channel itself. I want to look at it tonight after the show. It's I'm with you, and I feel a sneeze coming on. Hold on, I'm going to hit my cough button. That was a sneeze. That was a real sneeze. See, you could hear it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you heard the sneeze. The audience didn't hear the sneeze. That's how a studio works. That was pretty loud, wasn't it? That was a real sneeze.
Yeah.
I'm with you on this. We all would love for this to be real. Do you think that, and you heard what Jay was saying too, do you think that maybe it could really be Stanley playing a final joke on us too as well?
After hearing him being called Tom, it's really hard for me to believe that it's really Stanley.
All right.
And I looked through. I spent a lot of time looking through all the images on Google Images.
Right.
Trying to see him in his older years if he really did look like that. And to me, it kind of looks like the shadow on his face may have been darker lighting in the room to kind of try to hide. He doesn't quite look exactly like him.
Right.
The nose, maybe his nose is a little bit more curved on the end.
Yeah, I was noticing that too as well. But then also, in a weird way, Mike, I also thought that. Okay, there you go. Somebody, I brought in another caller, and they've got me on in the background. That will get you shut off as quick as anything. When I was looking at the nose and the eyes and the forehead, I also kind of thought that they were correct. And the incorrect things that I saw were also looking kind of correct to me at the same time. So, hey, Mike, thank you for the phone call. Thank you for the links and more on this over the next couple of days. And thank you for posting to the Facebook page, and I'll keep things updated for you. Thank you, brother.
Great. Thanks.
Have a great night. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black.
Hi there, Jimmy. This is Northern California. Liz, remember me?
Are you in a bar?
No, actually, I'm to ask for your fate or not prayers because my house just got demolished by a tree.
Your house got demolished by a tree?
Yeah, it's all smashed.
Okay, you're breaking up right now.
I'm sorry. Trying to stay away from the chainsaw.
Are you being... Who? What's your name?
What?
What's your name?
Liz, I Wonder Productions, remember?
I do. Your house, a tree just fell on your house.
2:00 this morning.
Wow.
It's demolished. About 110-foot bigger pine. Just straight across the house, and I was sitting at my desk, and it just toppled over, and I ran out of the house, me and the dog, and I ran out the back.
Are you okay, Liz?
Well, physically, yeah, sort of, but it wrecked my RV. Smashed my house, destroyed everything. Everything is just like crazy. And I know you're talking about the flat earth. The flat earth is total BS. Because if it was a flat earth, the tree would have went up in the air.
Liz. Wow. Yeah, forget about the flat earth, Liz. Let's I just want you to be safe, and I want your dog to be safe, and I hope that you get your stuff out of the house that you can. And look, you are what's important, okay? Losing I feel bad, but all of that stuff can be replaced. You and I know that. And just you need to be safe. That's the main thing, and your dog.
Well, I thought if I listened to you guys tonight, and I love your Fate or Not people, they're so great, and you all are so great. And also on the 4th, when the Russian jets were flying over, I'm up north of Sacramento. I was at the hardware store, and I got a missile on my video camera. A missile went over about a minute and a half. I don't know where it came from, the south, but there was a definite missile that went over.
Wow. Can you, well, I know that you're busy with the house and everything, but when you get a chance, send me the video. Yeah, send me the video, Liz.
I definitely will.
Okay.
I'm always seeing crazy things, Jimmy. You know, they just come to me.
Well, listen, I'm watching our Fate or Not family. Right now on Twitter, everybody says that they love you. Just be safe, okay? And you know that, Liz, okay? Now go take care of business. Go do it, and then give me a call on Monday, okay?
The guys are trying to pull a 50-foot part of the tree out of the middle of the house.
The whole thing's down on the ground now.
Okay, go and take care of business, Liz, okay? Go take care of business, and just be safe.
Jimmy.
We love you back, Liz.
It's a heck of a Christmas present, not having a house.
Oh, things always get better, Liz. You know that.
Jimmy, I don't have any insurance anymore. They cut the insurance on account of the fire drought, so they stopped the insurance. And disability, but I'm a strong girl, you know that.
Yes.
But I lost everything. It destroyed my beautiful RV, my house.
Oh, Liz, you're bumming me out.
Christmas presents.
I know, and it's Christmas. But we're all behind you, and I'm watching Twitter. It's on fire, okay? So just get in touch with this. Just get in touch with us tomorrow. You've got more important stuff to do. Just get in touch with us, Liz, okay?
Thank you so much, Jimmy, and I love you, Fate or Not. You're such a great group of people.
Thank you so much, Liz. We love you right back, and we'll be talking to you tomorrow. Thank you, Liz. Go take care of business.
God bless all of you, and Merry Christmas.
Thank you so much, Liz.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Good night, all.
Good night, Liz. Wow, Fate or Not. We got a band together for Liz. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You got to turn me down in the background. You need to turn me down in the background. 3, 2, 1.
Wow.
Okay, that's enough of that. Can't do that. If you call into the show, now they're listening to me right now. If you call into the show, turn me down in the background. That's all you got to do. And what's funny about that is that shows the world that we're live. Okay, let's try this again. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello there, Jimmy.
Who's this?
How are you? This is Captain.
Oh, hey, Captain. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fantastic. What I want to say is that I think that the flat Earth situation is hogwash because we have this thing called hollow Earth, and I don't think nothing passed the flat Earth thing. What I want to say was the Stanley Kubrick deal. I think that we have this technology called clones and lookalikes. That's the best fake I ever seen.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. Let's go. But before we go there, let's back up to the flat Earth. When hogwash might be a little strong, but why would you? What is it about it that makes you just say, "No, I'm sorry, I need to back off"?
Okay, let me say this about what I just said. The reason why I said hogwash is because of the fact that, the flat Earth situation, they talked about this back in the 1930s, back in the 40s, and they're trying to bring this topic back to the surface again. And I'm telling you, when you look at what happened back in the 40s when Admiral Byrd went to Hollow Earth, and it's no doubt about it that the Earth is indeed round, and that there is part of when our astronaut goes up in the atmosphere, there is a hollow portion of the North Pole. That there is a hole at the top of the Earth. So I don't want to hear this thing about flat Earth. There's no such thing as a flat Earth. This Earth is completely spiral, round, and yes, there is hollow Earth.
Okay. Well, the hollow Earth idea. I don't want to call it a theory because that's giving it too much. I don't.
No, it's not a theory. It's really. If you go back and look at the videos that Admiral Byrd did, he talked about this hollow Earth.
Well, but Captain, hold on. You jumped in too quick. You didn't let me finish. Okay, so let me finish. The thing about I don't know enough about it, but the mythology that goes back to not only American Indians talking about the ant people that live below the earth, and other spots and other cultures around the world. When I say spots, I'm talking about geographically, about people living underneath the earth, being there. That's something that I think we need to look at. And when we talk about hollow earth, what is it that these cultures have been referring to? Over millennia. I mean, a long time. So there's something to the hollow earth. When I look at the illustrations of the hollow earth, that's where I have a little bit of issue with. But people living underneath the earth, deep inside of the earth, I think there's something to that. I do.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do believe that. And your guest goes on last night, John. Let me say this. He is such a brave and very intelligent guy, and I'm telling you, he talked about that Brillo creature. If you go back and look at the movie, the last movie that Star Trek, the latest movie of Star Trek, you go back and you'll see exactly that creature he was talking about. Because they had a creature that was there that had a Brillo-like face and had those large, round-like eyes. That's the creature he was talking about.
Interesting.
That same little creature, that same little 4 feet high creature with a round like Brillo. It was like his face was like I don't know what to call it, but it was very unusual, very strange. And I never seen a being like that, but yet that being was from Hollow Earth. So this is what I'm saying. The ranch is very interesting because I definitely want to visit the ranch one day before I leave this planet, because I think people need to visit something like that. At Skinwalker Ranch, the same thing. These beings are among us. And I'm telling you, we have humans just walking around in a human suit that's not how can I say this? That doesn't look, that on the inside, they're not us. On the outside, they look exactly like us. And they're working in every facet in society, in all nationalities. They're there. These movies, a great movie to watch, this movie called Jupiter Ascending. If anybody get a chance to see that movie, it is an excellent movie because it talks about the various races, and you see all the different types of races in that particular movie. And it's excellent because those same races you see in the movie are there on planet Earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. Have a great night. Hi, you're live. That's all great points. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, it's Chris.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Hey, I just want to make a point about this flat Earth thing.
Okay.
the point is if the Earth is flat, why is it Mars? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I know you're.
It's kind of like a quick debunk, I guess.
Well, I'm not laughing on the Mars point, and I don't mean to laugh at any of this, but that's one of the things that I, as a kid, I used to go out and look at planets with my dad in a telescope. And by the way, I'll announce this to the audience. I still haven't bought a telescope, and I should. But I would look at Saturn and Mars and the Moon and Jupiter all the time. And, I mean, how do you explain the rings on Saturn?
Exactly. I mean, if why would the Earth be the only thing flat? It doesn't make sense. And not to mention that these things are spinning. So if they're spinning, it makes more sense for them to take a spherical shape than a flat shape. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
kind of wanted to just call in and say that.
Yeah, and with when I look at there's to say that the moon is flat and we never see the back side of it and it's flat. Yeah. When I look at images of the moon, especially when there's a shadow on it. Yeah. It's a sphere. There's nothing else to say about that, but that is a sphere. There's no other way to look at it than that.
If you were to have like a clay, like let's say a ball of clay, something malleable, and you were to spin it around, I'm pretty sure it would take the shape of a sphere and not something flat. It just I don't know.
Have you ever been to the ocean? Have you ever been out to the beach and like looked at the Atlantic or the Pacific?
You mean to the beach? Yeah, I live kind of close to the beach.
Okay, which ocean do you face?
I face the Gulf. I guess the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay, so when you go out and you look at the Gulf of Mexico and you look at the horizon, do you see a curve there?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I do.
Well, I mean, I guess, but it's not, obvious. I mean, sometimes I'll turn on that ISS, the International Space Station, just to see the Earth,
Right.
And when I see that, I do see a curve.
Yeah. It's just I have I can only depend on my own eyes, when it comes to this kind of stuff. And when I fly in a plane and I'm looking, I've never considered, flat Earth before when I've flown in a plane. But one thing that I do notice when I look out the window, and I love it, is looking at the horizon and knowing that, we're flying over the Earth and you can see the curve and you can see objects coming and you're guessing what's coming next over the horizon as you're flying. I wonder what city that is. I wonder what this is. And you're looking at and it's not flat. That's the thing. That's my eyes telling me that. So, hey, Chris, thank you for the phone call, brother. And you have a great, safe night.
I think that hollow Earth theory makes more sense than the flat Earth theory, just to say.
Yeah, there you go. I'm kind of with you on that. Thank you so much, Chris.
Yeah, later.
Be safe.
You too, bye.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jimmy, it's me.
It's who?
Is it me?
Yes, you are live.
Jimmy, this is Casey, your first station Petronaut.
Hey, Casey. How are you tonight?
Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you for pulling this topic. Today, I want to know what your opinion is. This flat Earth theory, I'm watching all the videos in YouTube for last almost 6-8 months.
Yep.
And sometimes, like you say, I cannot believe it. I don't want to change whatever I learned from my school. And on the other side, this guy, he posts all these things, did you see the flight route on the south side of our globe?
Yes.
If you want to fly from Brazil to Australia, it's very easy to fly on the left side along the south part of the globe. But if you look at the flight route, if you book a ticket right now, it will take you on the other side of the globe. And which is like, my sister lives in Australia. I wanted to go and visit her. And because of this, I started looking at the routes. And it got to go along the Asia Pacific and then go to the other side, to the Australia, which is like 23 hours, more than 1 day journey.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, see, these things, makes me worry, whether it can be something true like this. But the same thing, when you discuss with the last caller, I see Jupiter. It makes sense that something spins so fast can be a globe shape, not a flat shape. It's so weird, this topic.
Well, okay. Now let me address this. When you're talking about routes of airplanes, okay, it's not about the quickest way to go. It's about how many passengers are on the plane. And that's that. Wait. Let me finish. Let me finish, Casey. This is for the audience. So the quickest route, it's not about that. It's that they've got to get paying passengers with money on the plane. And that is where the plane is flying next to pick up more passengers. And eventually it's going to end up in its destination. There are routes across the United States where I need to get to Miami, but I may have to fly through Chicago. Okay? It doesn't,
that's true.
It does not make any sense, does it? But you have to. I just flew to Miami a few months ago, and I flew through Chicago. You know what I'm saying? And does that make any sense? I don't want to do that, but it's just the way that it is.
I can understand that, Jimmy. When I came here in 1999, my first flight from my country, India, I took Malaysian Airlines. It took off from India, went to Malaysia on the right side.
Yep.
And then it came back all the way to US. So I can understand that. But what this guy is claiming is, when you have a flight, once when it take off, if you go to the website and you can track where the flight is throughout the journey, there will be in that, he's saying that it goes from Brazil all the way closer to Africa. Then after that, website is not updated for like a few hours.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden you will see the flight continuation is on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And this is and he claims that he didn't do that one for one time. He was doing it for almost like a month. Mm-hmm. And once when it hits that spot near South Africa, it vanishes, and then it updates again. You know?
It doesn't
but
vanish.
Like you said, I'm not saying that this is the proof for flat earth theory, but it's really confusing.
No, it's not at all. And let me tell you why. Planes are not followed and tracked by GPS. Otherwise, the missing Malaysian airliner, we would have known exactly where it is. That was always the complaint that I and other people have had is, we're depending on radar, land-based radar to track these planes. And so when a plane disappears 30 minutes after taking off, it's not because it's disappeared and it's not followed by GPS. It's because the ground-based radar stops picking it up once it goes over the horizon.
Oh,
and that's it. That's the end of the story. They've always said that. When that plane took off, the Malaysian flight, and it turned around in the ocean south of Vietnam, and then makes a left-hand turn, right, and then it went back over Vietnam, and then disappeared, was because the ground-based radar there stopped picking it up. And that's why. It has nothing to do with GPS not being in the southern hemisphere. It has those aren't those are not following planes. Otherwise, we would know exactly where the flight 370 ended up. Okay, it's not about that.
See, this is why I listen to Jimmy Church.
So, people need to understand, man, it's radar on the coast that is following those planes, and as soon as they disappear over the horizon, the radar isn't tracking it anymore, and that's why that tracking software that you have all over the internet is not picking it up anymore, because it's not on ground-based radar anymore. That's all.
That I don't know about that.
Has nothing to do with GPS, man. Okay, that's the end of the story. Should we have GPS on every single flight, on every plane, and then we would never have a situation like MH370 again? I've been saying that all along. So there you go. Thank you, Casey.
I was sleeping, actually, Jimmy. My heart went out to Liz. That's why I woke up and I started calling you.
Yeah, that blew my mind, and that just wow. So I think we'll maybe we should band the Fadernauts together and get a little campaign going to help Liz out. That's what we're here for. So wow, that was
I already started tweeting. So let me know. Definitely, I will jump in whatever I can.
Yeah, thank you so much, Casey.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, and with that part of the flat Earth thing about no GPS being in the southern hemisphere, and there's some big conspiracy along with that, and you can't, when you're on Flight Tracker or all of these other look, if I am completely wrong here, that GPS is on every single flight on planet Earth and GPS is following things, I stand corrected. But as far as I know, with all of the reporting and everything else that I have done on MH370, which went missing, was the problem with that originally, and I had said this with Rolls-Royce and all of the other aircraft manufacturers that are dealing with the plane, and they're doing live updates and telemetry and everything else, that why didn't Rolls-Royce know exactly where this plane was, or why didn't that, and it was the lack of GPS on all of that, and GPS is a simple thing. Why wasn't the plane tracked? Well, they had always had stated that it was ground-based radar that was following the plane. As soon as it's over the horizon, it's done. Okay, I used to use Flight Tracker, and I used to follow stuff. And a lot of planes would show up coming into LAX and stuff right there. As soon as it's over the horizon, ground-based radar picks it up, and it shows up on Flight Tracker. Before that, it's an estimated position because there's no radar out in the middle of the ocean. And if I am completely wrong, somebody from the DOD, somebody from the FAA call me and set me straight on that. But as far as I know, that's exactly what's going on. It's just ground-based radar. So there was, and not to, phone lines are open, 323-825-5045, 323-825-5045. I would love for somebody to call in right now who knows about the flat Earth, that believes that the Earth is flat. Help me figure this stuff out. Okay, just help me figure it out. Okay? All right. I'm here. I'm a sponge. I want to learn too. What is it that I'm missing here? There was a little something that I had seen last night about, and I could be wrong here. Maybe I misunderstood, that the moon is illuminated from the inside. Right? And that it's translucent? I don't get that. Somebody call in and explain that to me. How is the moon illuminated from the inside? That doesn't make sense. I don't know. I couldn't quite figure that out. And I listened to it a few times, and it just, I don't know. I didn't quite get that. So if somebody understands that part of it, give me a call, 323-825-5045. There was the other question that I have. Well, I've got 1,000 when it comes to flat Earth. But one of the things that I'm confused about is, why do we care? Why do we care if the Earth is flat or not, or if it's round? Why would there be a conspiracy? Who cares? If the earth is flat, it's flat. So what? My kids still go to school. I still drive on the roads. I still go to the same supermarkets. I still barbecue in the backyard. It doesn't change anything. It wouldn't change anything tomorrow for me or for anybody else. So why would there be a big conspiracy behind it? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Why would we care? Why would anybody care? Because it doesn't change anything if it is. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, this is Eric.
Hey, Eric, how are you?
Good, buddy. Hey, I believe in the flat earth 100%.
You believe in the flat earth 100%?
Okay, Jimmy. I didn't believe at first, but we had a party out there by Redondo Beach.
Uh-huh.
You know where Redondo Beach is?
I
that
do.
Little park.
Yep.
That little park, right there where they have the weddings. Right to the, like maybe if you're looking at the pier, over to the left, there's a park. Right there.
Okay.
Okay. If you look straight out past Palos Verdes, you can see the ships waiting to go onto Long Beach.
Mm-hmm.
You can see down to the hall.
Right.
At the beach.
Right.
And if it's true, or if the Earth curves at 8 inches per mile squared, past Palos Verdes, it should be under the water. You wouldn't be able to see the ships.
Right, right. I've seen a lot of stuff about this too as well. And so
explain that one.
And okay, well, this is there's one part exactly what you're talking about. When I was growing up, everybody knows that I used to live down in the Canal Zone. Right now, down at the Canal Zone, I lived on this protrusion coming off of the coast of Panama. It's called Fort Amador, which is at the very entrance to the Panama Canal. Okay, the entrance. Now, as you can imagine, like Long Beach, okay, the amount of ships and freighters and boats that are just parked out there waiting to come into the canal and wait their turn, right, and pass through the canal. And I could sit and watch these boats, these massive freighters that are parked all the way out to the horizon. You can go to Google Earth right now, look at the Panama Canal, and you can see just dozens and dozens of these boats that are parked way out in the ocean. And and I would ride on a ferry that went out to this island out there. It's called Toboga, and Toboga is I think it's like 12 miles, it's like 10 miles out, 7 to 10 miles, whatever it is. And as you ride on this ferry and go to Toboga, then I would see all of these boats slowly pop up over the horizon, and I would go, holy crap, there's not 3 boats waiting to go to the canal. There's 50. But I couldn't. But I couldn't.
I guarantee you, if you had a telescope, you would be able to see those boats out there. It's just I've seen a video on YouTube, and the guy shows those ships disappearing. And if you have a zoom camera or a telescope, you can still see those ships.
Yeah, and I've seen all of that too, and how that illusion is created, just like a mirage. When you're going across the desert and you think something's out there, and you get out there and nothing is there. That happens. Those types of mirages happen on the horizon. And
okay, Jimmy. Okay, Stanley, I could take you. There's a fence right at the park. That fence is about 8 feet long.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you look at that fence from Malibu to Palos Verdes, it's completely flat. Now, if the Earth was flat, it would curve looking out straight. It not only curves on the horizon, but it curves left to right.
Well, you know what, Eric, stay right there. I'm against a commercial break, so let's just take this, and I'm going to continue talking to you right after the break, okay? So just stay right there. Stay right there. This is Fade to Black. It's Fade or Night. 323-825-5045. Eric brings up some interesting points. We'll pick it up on the backside. Stay right there.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal Guard on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
Why do people order Life Change Tea? Because Life Change Tea helps the digestive system. Life Change Tea helps the colon unclog. The tea also helps with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and many, many other health issues. Life Change Tea also tastes great. And Life Change Tea is not just green tea. Life Change Tea is a unique blend of 8 different herbs that go to town, cleaning your body of harmful toxins, bacteria, and parasites. Our tea is number 1. Are you ready for your life change? Let the tea help you. Log on to our online store of helpful products to get your body on track. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Or you can call us at 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408. Not all tea is equal. Read our website of all the factual testimonies that prove that Life Change Tea is working. Health is important, and our quality of life is very important. Don't wait to order. Expect a life change with Life Change Tea at getthetea.com.
Hi, I'm Richard Dolan. When I'm not hosting my radio program, The Richard Dolan Show on KGRA, or writing new books on UFOs, I run a publishing company. I'm proud to say that Richard Dolan Press has published some of the most fascinating books available on UFOs and related subjects. They include Dr. Bruce Maccabee's classic analysis of the UFO cover-up, David Marler's breakthrough book on triangular UFOs, Dr. Richard Sauter's unique work on underground bases, and other classics by Grant Cameron, Chase Kletsky, and Dr. Bob Wood, not to mention intriguing works by Eve Lorgan and Laurie MacDonald that deal with truly bizarre phenomena. I'm proud to publish such high quality and original works, and there are several amazing books about to be released over the next few months. Go to richarddolanpress.com to learn more.
Now you can find all your favorite talk radio shows live, all in one place at TalkStreamLive.com. Listen from anywhere, office, home, or in your car. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com and click on one of the many live talk show hosts you want to listen to. It's free and easy. No computer? Download the smartphone apps. Never miss your favorite talk show. Find them all at TalkStreamLive.com.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony. Damn
it. This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Tonight's Fader Night. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. All right, I was took this call from Eric right before the break. Eric, are you still with us?
I'm still here, Jimmy.
Okay, good. Let me ask you this, Eric. If I could get you a ride and get you up to the International Space Station, right? And you could cruise around the world, take a couple of orbits, look at everything, look at Redondo Beach, right? And come back to Earth. Would that change your mind?
Jimmy, there's no such thing as an International Space Station.
No, but that's not. But I'm saying, would that change your mind if you could do that?
Jimmy, okay, you can take a level. You should be able to see horizon. I mean, left to right. You should be able to see a curve. 30 miles, whatever the calculation is, you should be able to see the curve looking straight to the left or the right. That was game over for me right there.
Okay, well, I'm with you. I'm with you, Eric. That convinced you. I'm just saying if you could cruise around on the International Space Station and come back and you saw it, would that change your mind? That's the question.
But I would have to question if there's even an ability to get into space, and hence the Stanley Kubrick false moon landing.
I know. How funny that showed up on a discussion like this, right? Yeah, absolutely.
So that just ties it all together right there, Jimmy.
And you know how I feel about Apollo. So, okay, we're on the same page there. But, Eric, that's not my question, brother. If you could, and it really happened, and you cruised around the Earth, would that change your mind? Like you saw the ships out at Long Beach, right? That changed your mind. So I'm just saying, if you could go and do that, and you did, would you come back and go, okay, you know what? The Earth is round.
Have you ever seen the YouTube videos about the International Space Station?
I have seen the International Space Station with my own eyes, yes.
Okay. So tell me this, Jimmy. Okay, you can see the moon during the day. I thought about this the other day.
Right.
Okay, wouldn't you be able to see the solar panels in the daytime up in space? Wouldn't you be able to see that?
It's not that far away.
I mean, but wouldn't you be able to see because you can see the moon during the day. So if the moon was outside of the spatial Earth area,
right?
Wouldn't you be able to see anything shining, outside of the atmosphere? Wouldn't you be able to see that?
I do see that. Yeah.
What do you see? What can you see during the day that's shining through the blue? I mean, what can you see?
Well, you see, but that's one of the points, and I hear and I appreciate what you're saying, the idea of that. But my eyes see what they see. See, so
I've never seen anything shining through the blue space, through the atmosphere. The only thing that you can see is the moon, because the moon is under the atmosphere.
Right.
It's a full system. It's a dome system. But the dome and the sun and the moon rotate around inside the dome.
Well, okay. Let me back up, and then we can talk about the dome thing here in just a second. Not a problem. And I got to tell you, the phones are off the hook right now, Eric, and it's all your fault. Just letting you know.
Hey, man, you know what? It hit me. And I even had I don't know if this. I had an OBE one day, Jimmy, and I went through the clouds and I stopped and I came back down.
Okay, well,
now I tied all these things together, Jimmy.
I don't know how long you've listened to the show, but you probably heard me say this experience before. A couple of years ago, I was out at the Honda dealership down the street. And I was out there with about 5, 6, 7, 8 blue-shirted Helfa Honda guys. Okay, we're all standing out in the middle of the parking lot, and they're looking up at the sky. I'm walking out of the building, and they're looking up at the sky. And this one guy comes up to me and he goes, "Hey, man, go check out the UFO." And I was like, "All right." So I walk out and I look up at what these guys are looking at, and it was this silver. I want to say it was like an octagon shape because it was spinning and you could see the sun reflecting off of it every once in a while when it was making its rotation. And it's in the sky, in the blue sky, and it's moving. And we're like, wow, what the heck? And it was way up there, but you could see that as it spun, once in a while, the sun would reflect off of it. And then, Eric, it stopped right in front of it, right above us. It stopped. And then it went slowly. It took like 20 minutes, but it slowly went up into the blue sky and disappeared.
I've seen that too, Jim.
Okay. Now, I'm just saying that's what my eyes saw. This wasn't a video. This wasn't somebody telling me about it.
But was that outside? Was that in space or was that in space? I mean, was that in? Was it? I mean, anything could disappear. Anything could disappear. But I'm saying that we should see more things out there glowing through the blue sky because we can see the moon, through the blue sky.
Right.
So I'm saying the moon, and part of the flat Earth theory is the moon and the sun are are underneath the dome, and anything outside the dome you can't see. So you should be able to see more things out there shining during the day with the moon,
Mm-hmm.
But you can see the moon shining,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also,
what about when you see Venus in the blue sky? What is that?
That's an anomaly there, but Venus is one thing, but you should see more things. There's 20,000 satellites up there, supposedly.
Right.
You should see more things shining through the blue sky. You should see I mean, you look at the moon; it's plain as day right there during the day.
Right.
But then you don't see anything else shining. So that kind of that's another thing that happened too.
Yeah, yeah. And again, I've seen Venus in the middle of the day. You know, right?
Yeah, I mean,
right.
It could be something. It could be something out there. It could be, whatever. I can't understand. I can't. That's one anomaly I had thought about though, Jimmy. Venus.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it just takes more investigation. I wouldn't discount the theory 100%. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm 100% on it. I am 100% on it, but I mean, I do have doubts too.
Yeah, and we always have to have an open mind. Let me ask you this, Eric. I have two questions for you, and then I'll let you go. We've got tons of calls coming in. Is why should there be a conspiracy behind the flat Earth? Why should we even care? It doesn't matter if it's flat or God.
Yes.
That's but real okay. Why? I'm
well. If there's a God and there's proof there's a God, and if we live on a flat Earth under a dome, who created it? Who created us? Who created the dome? That's the thing that they don't want you to know about is the God.
But isn't that wouldn't you have the same argument about God if the Earth was round?
I mean, okay.
You know what I'm saying? If the Earth is round,
okay. Think of gravity as magic gravity. It can hold water. It could pull us down. Just think of what they tell you about gravity. Try to explain that one to a kid. Try to explain gravity. Try to explain the seasons to a 12-year-old and see, how dumb he feels.
Well, I don't because look, there's a few things that happen every single day that I can't explain, but I know that it's real, such as I have to breathe oxygen into my lungs to live, but I can't see oxygen. I can't see it. But I have faith that it's there. I don't have to prove that there's air out there for me to breathe. Certainly to my children too, as well. I have faith. I have faith that oxygen is actually real, and that's the process that I need. Let me give you another example. The plants that are growing in my garden over at my house, or the trees that are growing out there, the greenness that is there. Sunlight is what they absorb and allows them to grow. But I can't see sunlight. I can't see the sun's rays. I can't, but I know that is what is happening. So there's lots of things that happen all around me all day long that I can't prove, and I don't need to. I don't need to have proof that the sun's rays are what are growing plants. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with not having proof about everything. I'm not, but
I'm just going by what I see. One more thing that got me, Jimmy, is the sun. Well, okay, we were revolving around the sun 365 days.
Right.
Okay. Is at a 24-degree tilt, whatever. Okay. So when the sun's on the, if you're looking at the sun, say you're looking at the sun and the Earth rotates around the sun and it's to the right. Okay, at 12 o'clock in the noontime, the sun shines on that Earth on one side. Now, half of the year later, at 12 o'clock, the same hour, the Earth is on the other side of the sun. That hour is on the other side. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So how can, unless the time is changing every hour, to adjust for that Earth to be around on the other side of the sun, it's impossible. It's literally impossible.
All right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I understand what you're saying, yes, but why would it be impossible?
Okay, how can the sun shine on one side of the Earth, on one rotation on the left side, and like say in July, And then on January, on the other side of the sun, and at the same time of day, shine up. If you look at a map of it, you can see right there that the Earth does not rotate around the sun. It's impossible. It's literally impossible for the Earth to rotate around the sun. Because they would have to change. They would have to change the time as the sun rotated around the sun. I mean, the Earth rotated around the sun. They would have to change the hours at every phase of the position of the Earth around that sun. They would have to change. They would have to change the time just to adjust for the Earth, shining on a different part of the Earth going around the sun.
Well, if you look at things like that, if you want to look at it in those terms, and I'm comfortable with a 24-hour day and a 365-day year, and the Earth orbiting around the sun. And I've seen those calculations, and I've seen the computer mapping, and I've seen how it works, and I get it and I understand it. But what I don't understand, if you take the flat Earth theory concept and the sun above the flat Earth moving in a circle, what is confusing to me in that aspect is the entire flat Earth would be lit up at the same time. And it's the only way that it would work. It doesn't. No, you
because
can't.
The sun's only 3,000 miles up, so it just goes out of sight. You just can't see it.
That's exactly exactly my point. If it's 3,000 miles away and it's 32 miles across, it would light up everything all the time. It wouldn't be selective.
So next time we have clouds out here, I live in Fountain Valley. Next time we have clouds, take a look at the sun's rays coming through the cloud.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're talking about the diffraction and how it spits through.
The parallax, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's reflecting off of crystals in the clouds. There's light crystals, there's frozen things, there's unfrozen things.
No, you can see the sun right there, and you can see the rays, like a pyramid, the rays shining to the left, to the right, and straight down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
You can see that as plain as day. I mean, all the evidence is right there. Just nobody wants to see it.
Well, I do. I see the same thing that you do, and my natural inclination has nothing to do with science, right? Nothing to do with what somebody has told me. It's just what my eyes tell me. Is that
Jimmy? When I figured this out, it took me a month. I almost broke down to my knees. That's how disappointed I was in everything I ever learned about my whole life.
Well, okay. Then let me throw this out at you, Eric. I want you to just sit and think about this. When the Earth is moving at 1,000 miles an hour, right? And you lift up in a helicopter. How come you're not in a different position in that helicopter because the Earth is moving at 1,000 miles per hour? Doesn't make sense, does it? Right? You agree with that? You agree with that, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if you are in a car and you're traveling at 100 miles an hour, how come your coffee doesn't spill and land on the back window? Because you are moving with the car. Okay, wait, let me give you another example. If you are in an airplane traveling or in that helicopter traveling and you're in an airplane at 400 miles an hour, how come you can have a cup of coffee sitting on the tray table in front of you on that airplane, and you could take a pea and drop it into the coffee and watch the ripples go out in a concentric circle? It's the same.
Have you ever tried you know what you do? Get in a bus and try to roll a ball in a 60-mile-an-hour car and try to roll a ball up to the front.
You can't.
It will not work.
You
can't do it.
Of course you can.
You can't do that.
Absolutely you can.
Well, you know what? That's one of the arguments. That's one of the major arguments, Jimmy.
Well, look. The next time you're in your car, hand a ball to somebody next to you and drive at 50 miles an hour and have them take that ball between their feet and roll it to the front of the firewall in the car, that 2 feet of distance. They'll be able to do it every single time.
I understand. I'm just saying. Okay, take an unboiled egg, Jimmy, and try to spin it and see what happens.
Okay.
You ever try to do that?
Sure.
Okay, so try to spin a boiled egg and an unboiled egg. The unboiled egg will not spin.
Right.
So if we're in the spinning ball with all this water, why are we, the water switch, it won't spin.
Well, when you brought up gravity earlier, and I forget the word that you used, but the miracle of gravity, I think, is the way that you put it. Is that what you said? I can't remember. It doesn't really matter.
I mean, this is the special miracle of gravity.
Right.
It could, when we're upside down, it can make us seem right side up. It can hold water. It can pull things down at different rates. We're on a flat Earth, and things are pulled to the ground by electromagnetic force, and it's just the forces pulling us down, one way.
Well, how does it pull down something that's not magnetic, like a paper cup? I have a paper.
Everything has a force to it, and the Earth, everything pulls down, with a force. It's just up and down. It's just.
Well, if you're,
I don't claim to know everything, Jim.
I know. Hey, I'm asking the same questions that you're asking.
There's guys that are way smarter about this than me. I'm just going by what I see.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
But maybe we live in the same area. Sometimes I'm in the valley. I think about you.
Well, thank you, Eric. Eric, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
With this electromagnetic thing, and some things are magnetic, but if you fall down, how are you able to get back up? Are your feet more magnetic than your hands? You know what I mean?
I'm not saying it's magnetic. I said that there's there's a force that everything has. Everything has a force to it, and it just automatically pulls down. That's why you don't fly into space. I don't know too much. I don't know a lot about it, but
right.
That's the only thing I can explain. But they can't explain gravity. Try to ask somebody to explain gravity. You'll get a.
Yeah, and I hear you.
I hear there's a 500-page report on gravity, somewhere. And, go ahead and read that. But,
well, I'm waiting for somebody to explain gravity to me someday too, as well. Well, like I said, when it comes to the sunlight growing plants, I can't see that, but I know that it's happening. And it's the same thing with gravity. Nobody can really explain. I understand that, but I know that it's something that it can't be explained, but it happens. And even though I don't expect my tiny brain to understand it, I know that gravity is real because I can see examples of it. I can drop something.
Jimmy, I have a 12-year-old, and I used to take him to the merry-go-round. I'm sure you have two daughters.
Right.
You take him to the merry-go-round, and you spin them around, and what happens if you spin them too fast?
Gravity's not strong enough to hold them anymore.
And they fly straight off.
Right.
So if you spin that kid, on the what is that? What is the thing called? A Ferris wheel? Or what's the thing you?
Merry-go-round.
Merry-go-round. Yeah.
Right.
And obviously they would say faster, and if I would go too fast and they wouldn't hold on tight enough, they would fall right off. So why a spinning Earth? It just wouldn't make sense. A spinning Earth just doesn't make sense.
So what you're saying, I'm just trying to understand here. So you're saying that underneath my feet, the flat Earth part, underneath the feet, terra firma that we're walking on, is a giant magnet, right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying it's a magnet. There's forces between two items. There's a force that happens between two things. When you set your cup on the countertop, there's a force between those two items that keeps everything down.
It's called gravity.
No, it's not.
Hey, Eric.
If they want to call it, you can call it gravity, but we're not on the side of the Earth. I mean, everybody, it's a magic gravity. Everybody feels like they're right side up. So we're right side up. What is Australia doing right now? They're upside down?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah. Thank you, Eric, man. Fascinating conversation, my brother.
You know what, Jimmy? Thank you. This is the first time I've ever called, and I appreciate the call. I didn't think I was going to talk to you this long, but have a good night, and I enjoyed the show. I've been listening for like a year and a half.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eric, man. And I'm here to learn like everybody else. Thank you, man.
Yeah, I'm still learning, Jimmy. I'm still learning. And,
we all are. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Eric. You too.
Okay.
Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Nelson from New Jersey.
Nelson from New Jersey. How are you?
Good. I believe in this flat Earth theory.
Do you believe in the flat Earth theory?
Yeah. I mean, think about it. When we jump in the air, how come we don't turn upside down? That's the flat Earth. No, I'm kidding, Jimmy. I'm kidding.
Okay.
I don't believe in the flat Earth theory. I had about 1,000 things that I was going to bust your cojones with, but I listened to this other guy talking. Not to hate on everybody or nothing like that. I think the people that do believe in it, they understand that something is definitely wrong with what we've been told in reality.
Yep.
And I think it's just a tangent that people have gone off on. I mean, on some level. I guess on other levels, disinfo is kind of like fed into it.
There's a lot of that. And see, when you have so many questions about the life and universe and whatever, we just have questions. And you are able to tie in those questions into something else, then that adds to it, and you're able to have a basis of argument and debate, right? And then no matter what, you will always be able to convince a group of people that chicken burritos are better than beef burritos, and you're able to divide and conquer, and you're able to do that, and that's part of life, and I get that. But when we have something where, somebody wants to tell me that the sky is not blue, that the sky is actually red, and I know what my eyes see, that's where I have a hard time, dealing with it. I just want to know. I want to know what makes you think, not you, Nelson, but you think that the sky is red, and
what makes them... What has convinced them to the fact that the sky is a totally different color than what you look up and see? Didn't you have a guy like over a year ago? Was it you that had somebody on that went into this theory, and he actually suggested we were on like a I don't know if you saw that movie, The Signal, and at the end of the movie it like pulls back and it shows like this like almost like sky type of city, but it's really just like a simulation, but it's flat. And the gravity is actually this city flying forward and kind of spinning through space.
Yeah, I do remember that. Hey, Nelson, hey, stay right there. I got to do this commercial break. Let me do that, and we'll pick this up on the backside. Stay right there.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. This is Fade to Black. It's Fader Night, 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. We're talking about the flat Earth. 323-825-5045. I'll be back right after this. Stay with us.
Here, and you are listening to my boy Jimmy Church on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hi, folks. Ray Sobbs here with KGRA to tell you about something very special taking place in February 2016. I'm talking about the Space and Alien Snowfest Ufology Conference taking place at the beautiful ski and snowboard resort city of Big Bear Lake in sunny Southern California. We've got Richard Dolan, Chase Kletzky, Micah Hanks, Jason Martell, Jimmy Church, Linda Moulton Howe, Mike Barra, and keynote speaker Stanton Friedman will be presented a Lifetime Achievement Award. George Norrie and his producer Tom Danheiser from Coast to Coast AM Live will be with us all weekend. After the hectic holidays, gift yourself a retreat on top of the world the first weekend in February 2016 with a one-of-a-kind ufology event featuring some of the top minds in the field. Take advantage and book your lodging early and get your tickets now and register at aliensnowfest.com. I'll be there. Don't miss out.
Hello, Fadernauts. Are you looking for that perfect gift for the holidays? Well, check this out. The Studio Dome surround sound system, featuring the Studio Dome 1 SD1 and the Studio Boombox SBB wireless Bluetooth speakers, is the perfect way to get surround sound without all of the cable headaches. With its own hard shell custom carrying case for taking your surround sound experience on the go. Each hard shell case comes packed with an SBB, 2 SD1s, cables, and power. Just in time for Christmas. It's just $99. And you use the promo code Jimmy and you get yourself some free shipping. Once again, Studio Dome brings you the best Christmas deal on the net. Anywhere. Just go to the Studio Dome banner, JimmyChurchRadio.com, promo code Jimmy. Go Beckley Tuppy.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is Fader Night, 323-825-5045. Talking about the flat earth and Stanley Kubrick, too, and this interview that was released today. Hey, Nelson, let me ask you, what would convince you that the earth is flat?
To fly up into space and to look at it for myself and go all the way around and show me the bottom side.
That's pretty much the only way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, everything since I was a little kid, everything I've learned, has told me otherwise. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that I know we're not being told, but like something like that, I don't think they can pull it off without us figuring it out already. At least not to any sane point. There's a lot of people with a lot of different theories and different models of the flat Earth. Like there's another guy. Yeah, you may have caught it. There's a guy who videoed the moon and videoed like a waveform, like going over the moon a few different times. And like I was digging his channel, and then all of a sudden he like started pushing his flat Earth theory, and like I'm like, oh man, really? But
yeah. And look, I when I laugh, I'm not laughing at the flat earthers. I'm not doing that because we all need to have an open mind. Because if we didn't have an open mind, we'd be really screwed right now today. This show is about open minds, but there's things about it that make me laugh, and I don't want to do that. I don't. Kat just posted. This is what she just posted, and I was looking at this. This is what made me grin. She goes, I live 1,000 miles west of you guys, so that means I should be able to get to you in 1 hour. right? Driving the car because the Earth is moving at 1,000 miles per hour, right? And that is the part of the flat Earth theory that it's not supposed to exist, right? And we all know that is not the case. You can't drive in the opposite direction and drive at half the speed because you're catching up to the Earth. You know what I'm saying?
It's like, there's simple truths and there's simple scientific facts that we can prove ourselves that a lot of the flat Earth theorists, they throw them completely out the window. And the excuse for them throwing those facts out the window is that it all fits into the lie that they've told us. I mean, I guess, it's hard to not deny the fact that we're being lied to about a bunch of crap, but
right.
It's going way over on the other side of the fence where the grass is dead, I guess.
And there's there's a couple of things that are drastically really hard to swallow for me. This is just me speaking out loud with it. And if taking NASA out of the play, forget about NASA, right? But if this is a conspiracy and the Earth is flat and we're being lied to, that means just about everybody that you and I know is in on the secret. Okay? I mean, that's everybody. We're talking about, boats and ships and pilots and people, the infrastructure of the world and satellites and just think. Now, when I talk about satellites, I'm not talking about NASA. I'm talking about DirecTV. How about that, for instance? How is that occurring? Everything that we know and love, everybody that we know is in on the secret but us. It doesn't make any sense. Why do it? Because if
sorry, I didn't mean to.
But do you understand what I'm saying? That's the one
I understand what you're saying. There's also that movie with Jim Carrey. What the heck is the name of it?
Truman Show.
To play devil's advocate, you could be like, well, I mean, once the satellites go up, they go into an area where the dome is up there, and then they take them, and everything's going to work anyway because now they're in control of whatever you just put up into the sky.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of plausible theories that they do bring up, but overall, it doesn't make sense as a whole.
Yeah,
and I think some of the common sense that they try to put out is maybe on this little small speck of crust it makes sense, but if you widen that horizon, it doesn't make any sense because then exactly what you just said before, everybody and everything that's been around the outside and the surface of whatever they say it is in on it. I know people, and I'm sure you know people that have been to that edge and nobody says anything about it.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. I had heard somebody the other day in looking into this said that telescopes have lenses that are curved and it allows you to look at flat things like stars and planets and the moon, and they look round, and that the windows on airplanes are curved. So everything, when you look out and you look at the curve of the Earth, it's because of that. And this is immediately I thought of one thing. As far as I know, hey, Nelson, can you put your hands on your head and you can feel that it's round, right? Your head, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you be convinced that your head is round? Right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so if you're looking at somebody else standing in front of you that has a round head, you would feel confident that their head is round, right? Now, if that person was walked away from you for a mile, and then you looked at them or somebody else, you pick a person standing 10 miles away, and you look at them through a telescope, you know that you're looking at a round head, right?
Yeah.
Well, is that because the telescope is making their head round? No. You know that their head is round. So that argument or that point, that thing where we can prove it because, no. I know that if I'm looking at a basketball or something that I know is round 10 miles away with the telescope is not making it flat. It's round because I know that it's round. Do you understand what I'm saying? And
I have one thing that can prove it to be, things that are round or really round. When you look at the moon with a telescope, it doesn't have to be a great one, just enough so you can, get a great look at and focus on different craters and stuff. When you look at the moon, you have to focus from the center of the moon, which is the closest, and you have to adjust the focus to catch the outside rim of the moon, which is supposedly the furthest away without going to the backside, and you can't see that anyway.
Right.
So you have to adjust. And I'm sure there's a mathematical equation to figure out exactly from my telescope to the tip of the center of the moon, how far that is and how much I have to adjust to get to that outside part of the moon to bring that in focus and do some sort of mathematical equation just to figure out the distance between the center of the moon and to the outside of the moon.
You just got yourself...
Do that equation. That equation alone can prove it.
You just got yourself a free T-shirt. Write Rita right now, Rita@jimmychurchradio.com, Nelson, okay? And in that email, put your phone number so that I know that it's you, because I'm looking at your phone number right here in the studio. Give us your shirt size and your address, man. We'll send you out a Fade to Black shirt.
Okay, cool.
You have a great night, Nelson.
You too. Good talking to you.
Yeah, great talking to you. Thank you so much. He brings up that is a great point. You have to, and I've done the same thing. I have absolutely done that. Looked at the surface of the moon. I had to refocus. That's a really good point. Nelson. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. 323-825-5045. Phone lines are open. We've got about 15 minutes left. And also, I do want to remind everybody, tomorrow night on Coast, Jay Weidner will be my guest tomorrow night on Coast. It's going to be great. Let's see. 3 miles, 3,000 miles. I jumped west or east. Which way? Okay, this is from Mark. He says, at 3,000 miles per hour, I jump west or east. Which way can I jump further? Is it 3,000 miles per hour or is it 1,000 miles per hour? I think it's 1,000, Mark, but you still bring up a great point. We should have rules in the Olympics. You can only jump in one direction. Let's see. Earth is a Petri dish. Oh, I meant to bring this up. Okay. One of the points that these flat Earth guys will bring up is the map of the United Nations. The map of the United Nations is hidden in plain sight. Right there, they're showing us that it's the flat Earth, and they bring up 33 and the number 33 and Masonic order, and that's but that image is what it is. That there it is. It's that's the flat Earth, and that's our map, and that's what we look like, and they're trying to tell us something. They know that it's flat, and that's what we use. There you go. Boom. Over and over again. Now, as far as I know, now I could be wrong about this, but if you have a ball sphere and you have the Earth and you're looking at it, you can't see all the countries at the same time. I could be wrong, but there's a backside to the sphere. And so you can't have a 3D logo, can you? For the United Nations. It wouldn't make any sense. You have to have all of the countries. Otherwise, we would just have the United Nations logo, would just be the United States, Canada, and South America. Or it would be Europe and Africa. And only a little piece of Asia. But or a little piece of possibly a tip of Florida. Okay? Or we would see all of China, or we would see just Hawaii and a little bit of Russia and a little bit of California, but nobody else would be there. There's a reason why it's flat. It's so we could see all of the countries of the world at the same time. And I'm sorry, but it's always looked that way to me. That's the reason why it was like that. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, Jimmy, this is Jim from New York.
Hey, Jim from New York. How are you?
Oh, great. Just wanted to talk about the not-so-flat Earth.
The not-so-flat Earth? What side of the sphere are you on?
I'm on the round side.
You're on the round side. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I mean, hey, does this hold any credit? What about compasses?
Yeah, that's
because
yeah.
You know, if everybody walked north on the planet at the same time, would the North Pole be a line or would it be a point? You know.
Well, that's exactly what they say. The North Pole is in the center.
Yeah, because otherwise, if it was a flat Earth, the North Pole would be a line.
That's right, and that Antarctica goes all the way around the flat Earth and holds the water in, like a dish.
Yeah.
And,
but I always said, if you assume the Earth is flat, is it a square, a rectangle, a cube? What's on the edge? Can you see water flowing over the edge, or should we take pictures of the edge? Or
well, I'll give a tip to the flat earthers that are out there. I've listened to all of these interviews and all of these videos that are out there. I'll give them a tip right now. I'll help them in the future as they present their side of the case, which is they make one mistake over and over and over again, and they don't catch themselves. They always say they want to say that Antarctica, wraps around and holds the water in. But what they don't catch themselves saying when you go down to Antarctica, when you go down to Antarctica, they say it over and over. No, is Antarctica everywhere, or is it down? Because they say.
Can you touch the force field that's supposedly there? Or, I don't know.
Well, that's a whole nother conversation. But they always say down. When you go down to Antarctica, there's ships that are blocking you, and you can't get. When you go down to Antarctica, you can't fly across it. When you go down to Antarctica, you're going to say they don't understand that they keep saying down, so they're painting the picture in our minds as we're listening to them speak that Antarctica is south and the North Pole is north, and as long as they keep saying down to Antarctica, if they changed what they were saying and would say if you travel out to Antarctica, then you're saying what's correct. Yeah. Do you follow? And it's so funny. I catch them saying, and it's like, dude, you don't even believe what you're saying. You don't even believe what you're trying to say right now because you're telling me to go down to Antarctica and I'm going to get blocked. It's funny, man.
Well,
all of these.
Well, actually, that one call, they had because I watched a few of them, and what actually is happening is they're disbelieving. Well, they're thinking in black and white. They're disbelieving the government and NASA, and any conspiracy they're jumping on. So you know what I mean? It's like me when I had a battle in my head for over 10 years on the Bible, and it's either 100% right or it's 100% wrong. But then I watched Ancient Aliens, and I realized, there's parts of it is right, but we're just getting the wrong picture. The God,
right.
Because my God it doesn't look like a human. And he doesn't judge people. The Creator's probably made of energy because everything's made of energy, And the nobody knows what the creative source is. I mean, But anyway, that's the word God is just means a ruler or king, and they were aliens, and they made people. I don't worship anything, you know. I don't do altars and sacrifices and all that. So the ancient aliens just cleared everything up for me. I had no more battles in my head, you know.
Yeah, and I have when I want to answer each one of the points that you just made. Is the thing is, if all of it has been created, if all of it was made by somebody else, then what's wrong with that? But why would they do it with certain mistakes that are tied into it? There's certain flaws to this. And one of the greatest things out there is if there is some kind of sapphire crystal dome, or there's something there that is encompassing all of this. Who did it? When? Where? And why? And where are those answers? You can't just say, well, they did it. Well, where does your information come from? Have you been to the edge? Have you been to this dome? If you haven't, then all you are saying is that this is science fiction, because you can't say, well, it's there. Well, what do you mean? What is the evidence of it? Has somebody been there? Has it been photographed? Is there a sample of it? Can you do that? Can you do that?
Yeah.
You can't just say, well, it's there. Well, then it's made up. You know, that's the point that I find.
Well, the other mistake that one caller made is when you're standing by the ocean, because your human eyes aren't that powerful, you can't see those ships, and you need a telescope only because your eyes aren't that powerful. But if the Earth was flat, and you had a powerful enough telescope, you'd be able to see Europe if you were standing on the Atlantic Ocean, you know, on the East Coast.
Yeah, just like we can see the moon or anything else that's 3,000 miles away.
Right, there's a curvature there. I mean,
yeah. Hey, Jim,
it's so obvious. I mean,
hey, Jim, have a great weekend, my brother. All right?
You too, Jimmy.
Behave and be well. You know what? There's one other thing that you just brought up, and I'll let you and the rest of the audience digest this. If the sun is 3,000 miles away, that means it's closer to us than Australia. That doesn't make any sense. And so I'll leave you at that. Jim, have a great weekend.
Okay, Jimmy.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Les, what's up, my brother?
Not mucho, Jimmy. Been a really interesting conversation tonight, hasn't it?
Yes, it's been a fantastic conversation. It's been interesting. It's been a fun day.
Absolutely. Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's been a fun day, all right.
It's been a fun day. So, Les, is the Earth flat?
Well, you know, I wanted to say one thing. In answer to what Eric had to say about the ISS, actually. If you remember, at CITD, we had our Fade or Not party.
I knew it was coming up. I knew this was coming, yes.
Anna had an app that says, oh, look, the ISS is going to come over in a few minutes. So we all stood out in the pitch dark, I have to say, waiting for the ISS to come over.
Yep.
Now, we watched it from horizon to horizon go over.
Sure did.
If you remember, I said, oh, look, see the sun flashing off the solar panels?
Yep.
If it was a flat Earth and the sun was over the horizon, would the sun be flashing, on the solar panels?
Yep.
That's all I had to say about that.
Well, I saw it with my own two eyes. And, we saw it with about 20 pairs of eyes that night. And you know what was weird? I thought, now this is, didn't we all have that conversation about the solar panels as it went over?
Yes, we did.
Okay, we did, right? Because I remember, we were all drinking. Okay, so let's get that out into the open right now too, as well. But I remember when it was going over, and it was a nice clear night. We're all looking at it, and I said to myself, "Holy crap! I can see the solar panels." And then I think somebody else brought it up, And then as it went further and it hit the sun a bit more, then it looked like a friggin' dragonfly, because when it started, it was just a star. You remember when it came up over the horizon? But as it went over us and continued on, it had a shape to it. It was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was extremely cool. Thank you, Anna, for that, by the way.
That was too much. Cool. You remember she stood, okay, I've got it on my app. Let's go. And we all marched out. We all marched out to the street, and it was like to the second. And she's pointing, and she's like, okay, it should be right there, right about, boom. And there it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was a great time, man. And that's my personal, well, it was our personal experience. So, that's the way, when Eric said the ISS, it just went boom right in my head. And, he has his perspective, and I have mine. And he has a right to his perspective. That's the great country we live in.
What would convince you that the Earth is flat?
I don't know as much would, dude, because, and the reason being for that, Jimmy, is, okay, so many people died or were put in prison to fight for the fact that it was a round Earth. It took the Catholic Church 400 some years to apologize for their mistake with Galileo. If it was, are you saying they're the church is going to flip flop on their decision? What's the use of anybody? Once the astronauts went up, what's the use of lying? Lying about it afterwards. Saying, "Oh yes, the Earth is flat." What do you know? They were right all along. Why would they hide that?
I don't think there's a reason for it. That's one of the things where I just scratch my head. Rita last night, she goes, wait a minute, and she spun around to me. She goes, who cares? Who cares if it's flat or if it's round? What does it change? It doesn't change anything. Doesn't change the economy, doesn't change religion, doesn't change that, doesn't change our lifestyle, it doesn't change anything. So why would there be a conspiracy to hide it? Doesn't make any sense. I know Eric said God. Okay, all right, there's something to be said about that. But there's also something to be said about if the Earth is round and God comes into question, because we have that question every single day too as well. And we fight wars over it and so forth. So I don't know if that holds water either. But what's the reason to have a conspiracy over the world being flat or round? Who cares? It doesn't change a single thing. It wouldn't change anything at all, ever. There's just, nobody would care. So it's flat. Okay, let's.
You know what I'll tell you? It's going to change something if that video is real.
Yeah.
That'll change something.
Yeah, I just got some email about that, and I'll disclose all of that tomorrow night on Coast to Coast.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah, it came in, and I got a couple of more, too. But you guys are going to have to wait till tomorrow night on Coast. Les, get me out of here.
Yes, sir. First, Jimmy, would like to thank all the new Fader Nuts and callers who phoned home tonight. Fade to Black executive producer is Rita Camurian. Special thanks to LJ3, that's me, Renee, Jonas, Mark. Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Brother Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, and Mark D. Kovar. Fady by Dale. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music is by Doug Aldrich. Intro by Spaceboy. Visit him at spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. It's syndicated on KGRA. And for that, the week on Fade to Black, we are out of here.
Thank you so much, Les. Have a great, safe weekend. We'll see you tomorrow night on Coast to Coast AM.
See you tomorrow.
This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2015 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. We'll see you tomorrow night on Coast, where my guest will be Jay Weidner. Everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.